Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome. Number one sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Hold on here, fam. Okay, there we go. Back with the chat here, family. Good to see some of the family members back in the building here. Had a little some issues with the Wi-Fi. Very strange, man. Very strange. Just had that stuff worked on. But we back in it. We can't be stopped. We're going to keep rolling. We're going to do what we're supposed to do and handle it. Now, we're going to split the show in two halves. The first half, of course, we read the Drew Brees apology statement from Instagram. The second half was we then played the 6 or 7 minute interview from Demario Davis. So that's the first and second half portion of it. This time around, it just goes to show you that what happens from here. A lot of people believe that this is a good thing. A lot of people, of course, several of his teammates applaud his efforts, but it will take some work to kind of make your way back in some stuff like this. And a lot of people believe that this is probably going to be a lot of people like GM Kev believe that the Saints won't make it back from this. But it's just one of those things you just have to wait and see. Who that to the family members joining the live stream once again. Nola Gang, 3 Keith. Keith N, good to see your family. And Richard Good to see your family as well. Yeah, but we running around, man. And hopefully, a lot of stuff going on with the Black and Gold Nation. We've had some stuff happen this past summer, some moves to be made. And this is a very interesting endeavor. But Drew issues an apology statement. The only thing that would beat that would be a actual live press conference in which the statement is read, so you can actually see the person stating it. But nevertheless, an apology was issued. This will forever rub people raw. Some people will forgive them. Some people won't. That's just how it is. And we'll move forward on the discussion. But you heard what Demario Davis said about it. And Alvin Kamara was also one that got involved with it by mentioning to Drew Brees that he talked to Drew about it the moment it happened to kind of enlighten him about it. And it was in this statement right here. It says that running back Alvin Kamara told Drew Brees where he dropped the ball at. And of course, he did make mention in the article about it, saying that this is on Thursday, Kamara took to Twitter expressing his opinion on the video. And of course, he's talking about in the reporter from Fox News who had a segment where she was telling LeBron James to shut up and dribble. And you got to remember that a lot of people watch Fox News. Some people don't watch Fox News. It's to whoever it is. But Kamara in the statements was saying here that I've had a day to digest the comments that Drew made. I was disappointed and hurt We talked and I explained to him where he dropped the ball and he understood. But now it's time for us to be a part of the solution, not the problem. We have to educate to progress. And that's what Kamara said to Drew Brees as the apology is issued. So now what? We move forward and we go ahead, as some would say, and that's just the bottom line. If you think about it. Good to see you in the chat as well, Demi. Scoob, good to see your family. Big much love to you. Dead Game Boxing, who that to your family as well. DJ HC, who that to you as well. He said, if he don't retire, the team is done. DJ HC, who that to your family. Thank you for your comment. DJ HC says, man, it's no coming back from this. And a lot of people believe that. Some people don't. A lot of people don't. So I don't know if it's split, but, people have their different opinions of this type of stuff. Jonathan Wilson, who that to you as well. Derek and the family members, thank you for coming back to this stream. Sorry about the little difficulty we had early on. But that's just a part of the resolve, man, of continuing not to fail. Refusing not to fail, to go down regardless of what occurs. We're just going to keep on rolling, and that's the resolve of the people, period. Overall, and when we meet these challenges, you got to destroy them, conquer them, or go over them. Can't let obstacles stop us from on our road to success, as it were. So that's some of the information that was regardless. Sean Payton, Elvin Kamara on Drew Brees. I've read the statement from Instagram from Drew. I played DeMario in the first section of the show. And now I'm going to get to the point where I open up the phone lines for the family members to chime in. And we're going to open up 2 lines so you can call 2 at a time. So remember, when you call in and somebody else is talking, please mute your phone so you allow them an opportunity to be able to be heard. So the phone lines is open. I wanted to do that, get into the phone lines early before we got the last show, we took a little while for us to get there, but we want to get to the phone lines. Thank you for calling the Sports Coma family. Who am I speaking with? Can you hear me, family?
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay.
Good.
Good.
This Jonathan and Michelle. I'm finally getting a chance to get on the call.
All right. Now say your name one more time, my friend.
Jonathan.
Okay. All right, Jonathan. You're in there, my friend. Yesterday it was a madhouse yesterday, but you're in there today, my friend. What you think, Jonathan, on the apology?
Before I get started, I hate that my wife wasn't able to be on here with me today. She hadn't got off work today. She hadn't got off yet, so I hate she's not gonna be on here. She gonna be mad at me. She's like, we're gonna be on here together. But
that's right.
I know Drew issued an apology. Originally, I'm from Mississippi.
Okay.
And growing up in the 70s and actually seeing young black men being tortured, actually seeing young black men, I'll never forget a story. Me and my grandfather and my cousin was going to the store, and as we got there, we was walking to the store, and we passed by this barber shop that this white guy that we knew owned it, and he said to my granddad, hey boy, where you and them boys going? And my granddad instantly turned around and grabbed us and put us in the car. And we young, we didn't understand, and he just sped off, and he's driving 60, 70 miles an hour. And this is the time when 50 miles an hour was the speed limit. And then he just suddenly slammed brakes and pulled to the side of the road. And he told us, as long as you all live, when you become grown man, don't never let another grown man call you a boy. So, that always stuck with me. And I always believe in whatever in you eventually will come out of you. You can hide it, you can cover it, you can paint it any kind of way you want to do it. But it's going to come a time that you're going to get caught with your pants down and you're going to truly say how you feel. Now, I think what Drew have done for the state of Louisiana, since I live in Louisiana now, I think he's done a great job. But I also realize Drew, who he is. And he showed that. That don't change that he's a great quarterback. That don't show that he's a great player. He's not a great player. But at the same time, he know what's going on. And that he just chose to turn a deaf ear to it. He just chose not to see it because it didn't affect him. And I think it's gonna be some animosity in the locker room. Now it's just like anything or any other job. Yeah, they gonna get along in the workspace, but outside of that, it's gonna be problems. And I think in the end, it's gonna cause them not to make that next step into the Super Bowl.
Okay, well, Jonathan, that's very, very insightful, and that's amazing, man. That what you just said about your family member that you said that was your grandfather that told that.
Yeah, that was my grandfather, man. That's something I'll never forget. Being 6, 7 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I still remember that. And I know I have some. Now I got some relatives now. I have a niece and a nephew that's in the military right now. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, disrespect the flag or none of that stuff right there. But when you have been a black man in the United States and you know how you've been treated, you say to yourself, that flag don't mean nothing to me. Yeah. I mean, what does it mean to me? I mean, because I'm not being treated equal. I'm not getting the same privilege that you have. So don't get me wrong. Okay, Drew, at least I would have felt much better if he said what he said and then just stood behind it, be a man and stand behind it. But I feel like other powers took place and said, hey, you need to go on there and apologize, and you may not mean it, but make it sound good. Because at the end of the day, Drew, who he is. I don't care how much money he gives. That's been the problem. Just because somebody donating a bunch of money, oh, he's a great guy or she's a great lady. That's not true. They just doing something for publicity. They just doing something to say, hey, I did it. But that don't mean they care about the same things you care about.
Okay. Well, I mean, I hear that, Jonathan, and some of that does go on, and you're absolutely right. Some people do it for PR, whether that's what Drew's doing. I think it would have had more impact had he had come out in person, because anybody could have written that statement. His lawyer could have written that statement. There you go. So, I mean, if it probably would have been better if he'd have came out with it. And I'm pretty sure down in the near future, there will be a press conference where he'll come out and address it and then put his money where his mouth is. And this will put him on the front line. Now, if he thinks like that now, I'm going to be honest with you. If we look forward into the future, and I'm just telling everybody, the Great Saints Think Tank, don't write him off just yet, because let me tell you something, man. There's we make mistakes. A lot of people make mistakes, and we understand what the thought process is. But if somebody trying to come to you and they're trying to reach you, mm-hmm. then you got to give them an opportunity to reach you. You got to give them. Let's just say, for instance, Jonathan, that Drew comes out in the near future and owns what he said, and then begins the process of then rectifying what he's saying by showing community service in terms of marching with the protesters, putting his money where his mouth is, and doing positive things to help the advancement of equality and into the positive narrative for the black family. Let's say that becomes a major focal point of his future movements, his near future movements. Will we then say, no, we don't want you to do that because you said what you said, or we will allow him the opportunity to gain some forgiveness or show that he can be better than what he displayed prior? Will we give him that opportunity, is what I'm asking the Great Saints Think Tank. What do you say about that, Jonathan?
I think, I feel like we should, being in the ministry, I believe in every man that deserve a chance to make right what he have done wrong.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it would be right in God's eyes, and for him to, allow him a chance to show everybody, hey, look, I dropped the ball. I made a mistake. Yeah, I know I had other players telling me that this is what cap meant and all this here. And a lot of times when something don't touch us personally, like, you may hear about somebody being murdered in this person's family, and they may live next door to you, and you may say, oh, I feel bad about that. But it don't hit home until it happened to you.
That's right.
So I mean, I believe he had some sincerity for what took place or what's going on, but it never happened to him. So I mean, he just didn't have or didn't feel the way everybody else felt, because that's just like, if your dad's still living and my dad is dead, you're not gonna understand how I feel when it comes to Father's Day.
Right.
Because you able to go touch your dad, talk to your dad, so you're not gonna understand when I say, man, I'm just not on Father's Day. I'm just not down for that, man. I'm just not feeling it.
Right.
So I mean, I say allow him a chance. Like I say, everybody make a mistake,
Right.
and I think when he said what he said, I don't think it dawned on him at that time that, hey, it's bigger than this right here. I think he was just taking a stand on what he stood on at first, what happened back in 2016. He stood on it then, and he felt like, well, I'm standing on it now, because if you listen to the whole interview, so you have to give him that. What they asked him, they didn't ask him really about what you felt about what happened to George Floyd. They didn't ask him that. They asked him how he felt about what Cap was doing when he was kneeling, doing the national anthem. He only spoke really on that. And, like I know you being in the media, sometimes they can take things and take questions and twist it the way they want to twist it.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll say something and then they'll slice it and dice it and put it out like they want to. And it makes you look like you were saying something that you really wasn't saying or you really didn't mean.
Right.
So I say, as a fan, because my wife is a big fan of Drew Brees. Because she was hurt. She was really hurt behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to get her to call in and tell me how you feel. She said, babe, I'm so hurt right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, because she said, I can't believe that he would think that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's the biggest thing is, Doc, I look at it like this here. He going to have a lot of work. He might as well get ready. He gonna have a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Because regardless of whatever he do, it could be me, you going to always take that little look over your shoulder. If you ever been in a schoolyard fight and somebody sneak you, every time you argue with somebody, you going to always look over your shoulder, because you're going to think, hey, I got snuck once before, I'm not going to get snuck again.
Right.
So, I mean, he said what he said, so now every time he say something or every time something go on, guys going to kind of look at him side-eye first. And he going to have to show it first before they believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But hey, man, I appreciate finally getting through, man. I love the show, man. Me and my wife both love it. Like I said, she gonna be a little upset at me that I got on without her being here, man, because she's a big Saints fan, man, and we try to make most of the games and experience that feeling a lot of people don't know nothing about. And man, keep on doing what you're doing. We'll definitely be praying for you all. I'm praying for Drew, man. I'm praying that he pulled through this, because it's gonna be something.
Right. Well, I definitely appreciate that, Jonathan, man. Who that to you, brother? You be safe out there. Thank you for your comments.
All right,
bro.
you too.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Peace. All right, family. Thank you for calling the Sports Coma. Who's speaking?
Hey, brother, this is Gundam, man.
Gundam, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
What's going on, brother? What's going on, man?
Doing good.
Hey, if you got me on a standby, I'll just stand by.
No. You're on the air live, brother. You're okay. Right on time.
All right, brother. Look, I'm going to make this quick. First, I just want to say, when it comes to Colin Kaepernick and the kneeling, Army Field Manual that was created by General von Steuben back in the 1700s, you can take a knee out of respect. Okay, so what Breeze was saying, he wasn't knowledgeable. He should have kept his mouth shut.
Mm.
And what was the other thing? This is a good example of living in a glass house, because he's not really in tune with the people.
Yeah. Because
why are you going to go on the air and say something like that when the current situation, situational awareness, that you know what's going on? So he's going to have to work. What was the other thing? I'm just not buying, because he's a graduate from Purdue, right?
Right.
Okay. I mean, just the mindset, what was he thinking? You've got this, my main concern is football. I'm just hoping that the locker room, that there's some type of cohesion, because my thing is, I think, now this is just my opinion, I think Malcolm Jenkins is going to be the key. Because if they don't get that relationship right, you're going to have a divided locker room. But that's just my opinion. Because I saw a take on Malcolm Jenkins, and just his resolve, his commitment for social injustice for people. Because when he said, like Drew said, that his uncle served in World War II, I think one was a Marine, the other one was in some conflict. Well, what about the veterans that served in World War II, black veterans? When they came back, they were lynched. What about the black veterans that served in World War II and came back, and not only their uniforms were spit on, but they even treated the Nazis, had more rights, social rights than the black veterans. So I'm just kind of I'm a little bit appalled because of the knowledge. I'm like, okay, this guy's speaking off the cuff. He really just doesn't know and doesn't understand, because my father told me stories of how they were treated with segregation, and that how the Germans were in a higher status of the black soldiers. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
So for him to say that, it just cuts deep. But at the same time, I really appreciate how you're trying to bring calm to a situation where you're saying this without any wisdom, insight. I think that before you go on the air, you'll know what you're talking about. Be knowledgeable about what you're talking about, because what I know the situation with Colin Kaepernick. I think it was one of his Marine Corps buddies told him, look, sitting on the bench, that's wrong. That's disrespectful. Yeah. But if you take a knee, according to Army FM 3-24.23, that's acceptable. But what the thing is the country is so divided, and the way that they spend it is because he was a person of color, they're going to make it seem like he was trying to cause division. He was trying to be rebellious. He was trying to do something that would bring dissension among the leagues. And basically what you have, and I really hate to say this, you have the old guard that is pretty much going out, and they don't really want to give up that power of influence of proper social justice to a people that have been treated with disdain, debased hatred. What else? So that's all I got to say. But I just want to say this, Big Q, I appreciate how you're level-headed, your wisdom, and how you're bringing comment. I get that, okay, for forgive, but the thing is that too many times black veterans have been discarded or treated with disdain, but they still love this country, they still served, and they still respect the flag. But the way that a lot of certain powers that be spend it in the media is just a bunch of people that are complaining and utilizing a race card in order to complain, and that's not right. So I think that, one, Brees should have, thought about what he was thinking about. Two, he should have did his research before he was saying about, disrespecting the flag, because what is disrespecting the flag? I mean, because you see people wearing it on thongs. Mm-hmm. You see them wearing it as blankets. You see them wearing it draped around them. Some people don't even stand up to do the Pledge of Allegiance. They're on their cell phones. So, I just said that's my take on it, sir, and I'm going to get off and listen to the show.
All right, Gundam, thank you, my brother. Appreciate your comments, man, and the passion in which you deliver, my friend, and peace to you and who that.
All right, brother.
All right, that was Gundam chiming in. Appreciate the brother chiming in. Very heartfelt words. Live lines open, family members to react toward Drew's apology issued through Instagram today. We read it on the first part of the show before the Wi-Fi went down. Also, we played the 6-minute interview by Demario Davis, what his thought process was as well. And what is your opinion on the apology? Do you move forward with it? Do you forgive him? What is your thought process on it? Live lines open 504-475-4482. You can feel free to chime in, and this is your opportunity to be heard before the great Saints Think Tank Nation and across the globe, to be able to get your thought process in on what do you think about this? Do you think that Drew should be forgiven for his comments? He felt like he said he made a mistake, an egregious mistake, and he wants to then advocate toward the cause now. Do you trust him, and do you allow him to do that? Do you forgive him? Or do you, what do you do? A, B, or C? Do you forgive him and you move forward with him? B, do you not forgive him? Or C, it just doesn't matter and you have no thought on it. What is your thought process? I'm interested to know exactly what people are thinking, because I know this is a difficult time for a lot of people, and this could be very therapeutic for the family members to kind of express themselves in from an open forum like the Great Saints Think Tank with so many great people out there, so many great perspectives. Riley Tom says he knew what he was saying. Let's not make excuses for white supremacy. I hear you there, Riley. Thank you for that. Who that to you as well. Thank you. Don Juan Fontaine, good to see you, family. Who that to you? 985J in the building. What up, family? Good to see you in there as well. Demi, good to see Demi in the building as well. Who that to you, Demi? Lori, what up, Lori Hackler? Good to see you as well, Lori. Much love to you. Richard Good is back in the building as well. Good to see the family members chiming in. Ernest Adams Jr., who that to you, Ernest? I see your family. Russell McGee and others chiming in. Herwin, DJ HC, and the rest of the family. Thank you guys for coming over to the second stream and to pick up this dialogue. 504-475-4482. The live line is open for the family members to chime in. 504-475-4482 is open. So Demi says this discussion doesn't happen often enough with those who doesn't experience discriminates. But it's that's true, and it's a matter of perspective. Like what Brother Jonathan, who got on here, was saying about his experience as a child with his grandfather, and the fact that he's seen his grandfather react that way. And often than not, you know, if you're black and you have children, what do you tell your children about the police, being that you see so much of that going on? Is it a special way you tell them how to deal with the police? Have you had that talk with your children? Of course, I'm the father of 2 boys, and from a previous marriage, I have 3 children as not blood children, but I still consider them my own children, 2 wonderful daughters and a son as well. So altogether, I would consider myself having 5 children, because they do call upon me, not as much as my young sons, but I still love them all the same. And you, as a parent, you think about the safety of your children because of the things that you see and read in the process of the experience. And that's the thing that I want everybody to understand. It's a different experience. We don't all have the same experience. And I'm advocating respect for the difference in experiences, respect and open dialogue, but besides but 2 other levels of standing, inner, over, and under, everything, full standing of everything in an open dialogue without any of the negative emotions involved in terms of having a peaceful conversation about it. But the perspective is in the experience is something that we all have to understand, because how many other parents out there had that talk with their children about that? That's how really dangerous the situation is, family. For those who really don't know, because some people just don't know, man. I'm just going to keep it honest with you. Some people really don't know. They have no idea. They have no idea. And maybe it's a part of your job to let them understand that, because some people just don't know because it's not their experience. So, I mean, that's a part of it. But then when we come together and have this dialogue, then what's the next step? You know? And that's what I'm asking the people out there in the Great Saint Think Tank. What is your thought process now? Drew's issued his apology through social media. What's the next step in your mind? Now that his teammates are obviously, some of them going to forgive him, some of them are not. But do the team move forward now after the apology? Do we then hold him back and say, no, we don't want no part of you. You stay where you are, even though the man apologized and is now saying that he's going to put his money where his mouth is and his time with that too, to help and aid people. This could be a step toward greatness in terms of Drew Brees on another level. What is your thought process on it? Do we practice forgiveness? Like Brother Jonathan said, there were a lot of the great Saint Think Tank family members that are Christians, and the core principles of Christian people is forgiveness. So that is and I know some people are not Christian, but true and all, if you made a mistake, you would want to be, and you truly wanted to change, and you made a mistake and you did something that was wrong, and you really wanted to make an impression to the people you cared about, would you fight hard for their forgiveness? And I think this is a very interesting topic, but I'm asking you, what do you think about it? What the hell do you think about it? Ernest says Drew waited until just before the sports shows aired to release his apologies. Guess he wanted to gauge the backlash first. Forgiveness is one thing. However, he should not get a pass. No, I'm not saying, Ernest. That's well said, Ernest. That is well said. I got to give it to you, number one. That's excellent and well said. But I don't think we should give him a pass. But you have to earn it. And I think that's what it comes down to. You have to earn it, not give him a pass, but you have to earn that forgiveness. We don't relinquish forgiveness. They have to earn it, but you have to give them a chance to earn it. You see what I'm saying? Thank you for that. Ernest says, okay. Derek says, who that? Lori says, the police. DJ says, who that? Who that to you, DJ? Good to see your family. Derek says, thank you, Big Q. Thank you, Derek. Much love to you, my man. Scoob, who that to you, Scoob? Good to see you, fam. He says, my 3 grown men are mixed bag on the issue. However, neither doesn't understand Drew's stance. Experience. It's that perspective. It's the experience. And that's what I'm saying. It's like watching a movie. You can put somebody in front of, go take them to the movie theater and have several people to watch a movie, and you'll get several different opinions about the same movie, because it's all about culture, it's about upbringing, and not everybody has the same frame of thought. It's just not the same. So that's the great beauty of people coming together to have dialogue, to overcome the differences and to work together. And overall, the progression of people as a whole. But we can't have some groups advancing and others not advancing. The groups that's not advancing going to ultimately cause problems for the ones that does. And far too often in this country, that's the case, where a lot of those issues are swept abroad or diverted because they're not serious about doing it. But of course, the climate of the country nowadays is unlike any I've seen in recent history. And even though we've had strife before, I'm thinking now is the time. The people are a lot more sophisticated in the ways of manipulation of the media. People do not trust the media. They don't trust the hospitals as much anymore, because people have shown, and stuff has come out that they've shown to be deceptive. And when if you've proven to be a deceiver and a deception artist and practicing deception, you don't need to be. You lost the privilege to be believed. And I think so often a lot of the media operations, they've been discredited. They've been discredited when they started taking pharmaceutical people's monies during the commercials and start reading off of teleprompters. They're totally discredited in my book. Ernest says, this is who he is. Can he grow? Yes. However, many people do not change until they are removed from their comfort zone. Very true. Very true, Ernest. You're saying some powerful stuff there, Ernest. I can't buck against you. Thank you for calling the Sports Coma family. Who's on the line?
Hey, this is No Saint. How you doing today?
No Saint. How you doing, my friend? How you feeling?
Who that?
Who that to you?
Yeah, I got to give you kudos, because yesterday you said that when we were speaking, you said to me that, you thought Drew Brees was going to come out and apologize. And I wasn't so sure. I didn't disagree with you on the phone, but in my head, I was like, he seems pretty dug in on this line that he's using about not kneeling, the protest and the flag. But what I'm pretty optimistic about, this is what people that you work with in the so-called trenches of, if you're in the military or on a football team, your coworkers need to call you out and explain to you. I'm pretty optimistic. Now, I think Drew Brees has to take it a step further. I mean, he came out with the apology. He's still getting killed in some sects, like on I know I was listening to Skip and Shannon, and he was still getting pretty beat up. But he has an opportunity now to put his money where his mouth is and do more than just say, I'm sorry, I didn't understand and I was not empathetic, because the apology was right on the money. I mean, all the things he said he was not was factual. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, he didn't have empathy. He missed the mark. All the things he said were correct. So, that and the fact that his teammates that were critical of him came around and said, listen, I believe him. And people that know him, I even heard Reggie Bush said he knows Drew Brees, and anybody who knows him, give him the benefit, or at least give him the benefit about that he messed up, but are saying, he's of high character. So, I'm optimistic about that. Now his image has taken a hit, and it's not over. I mean, it's still fresh, but at least, like I said, when you said that yesterday, that you think he would apologize, in my head, I was like, I don't think he's going to apologize. I didn't. So, I mean, I feel a lot better today that he actually did apologize.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems sincere. Now I know some people can say that, well, he's got a lot to lose and he better come out, because, I mean, the wins, it wasn't the same as 4 years ago when he had this opinion, because this time everybody was down on him,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, I'm optimistic. I think, I got to give him at least kudos that he did. At least it seems like he is gaining some understanding that he didn't have understanding,
Right.
And maybe he's willing to learn. And I think people need to give other people that opportunity, even though he's in his 40s, but he grew up. He just grew up in a different world. I mean, he grew up. His parents were lawyers. To me, I mean, I don't know what his experiences are, but I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe this is a learning experience for him, and I hope it is.
Right. I mean, if it speaks well to what his comrades are saying, that he's a stand-up individual, and we bear witness to a lot of Drew Brees' public charities and what he's done and how he's performed in public, and you can see quite admirably. But a lot of people, you're not going to agree with everything everybody says. But I think a portion of the process is what's next. Now that an apology, usually when somebody does something wrong or says something wrong, and they come back and they apologize for it. I don't know, the man issued an apology on Instagram. Hell, I don't know if he wrote it or if his lawyer or his PR people wrote it. I don't know. I just know that it's an apology attached to an account that's out. I haven't heard anything face to face on that. I think that's the first step, but you got to come out and you got to lay out what you're going to do if you want some forgiveness from people. And I think it depends on who you're asking for levels of forgiveness, because some people have been constantly let down, and a lot of the black culture has been constantly let down because promises have been promised that have been unfulfilled for centuries. But I think a portion of the process is once somebody issues a forgiveness to you, then it's a process after the fact to make it back to you in your good graces again, if that's even possible. Now, if that's the case, do you say that yes, we're going to allow him to try to make himself back to our good graces, or are we going to say no, we good? I mean, what's your perception on that, No Saint?
I think, this, as I heard someone say on an earlier talk show on TV, that the wound is going to be there. Mm-hmm. The scar is going to be there. The wound the puncture wound's there. So there's going to be scar tissue. It's going to be a battle for him, especially in the short time. We don't know if he's got a year or two, but it's going to be a short term. It's going to be a little bit difficult,
right.
But I think that some people are going to dig in and not care, what he said. And even if it is sincere, some people don't want to hear it, and then others are going to be in the middle, but I think the biggest thing, I believe they had a meeting today, and I don't know if they'll let what went on in that meeting there was a pre-scheduled meeting for the team today, and I'm sure this had to come up, and I'm not sure, but I imagine Drew Brees addressed the team, and I wish that would come out, because I would love to know how that went, and I don't know, but yeah, it's going to take action, because you're right. I mean, words are words. I mean, people say words, and like you said, and over the history of this country, have not lived up to those promises. So that's why I think he really needs to use his position, and then he's going to go to NBC too. So I mean, he's going to be in the limelight for a while. He needs to use that position for legislation, and like he said, he needs to lead and actually make a difference instead of just talking about it. And that's where I'm hoping he goes with it, because I don't believe he's a hateful person. I don't believe he deliberately meant to hurt anybody, but I do believe he was willfully ignorant on the subject. I mean, he didn't have to know about. He didn't have to really dig in. He's never had to really worry about it.
Right.
And he got caught. He got burned. And I don't feel sorry for him for that, because sometimes you need to get burned to become a better person,
That's
to learn
true.
from from learn.
That's
so,
true.
I mean,
That's true. No Saint, sometimes you got to fall down to get up.
Yeah. And I mean, he's had a pretty good image up until yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
So, and he's he's spent a long time building that image up. And as you see, that there's that saying that, what is it? One bad, I can't remember the exact saying, but like one bad thing ruins 100 attaboys or whatever. Like you can do 100 great things, and that one bad thing is all people are going to talk about.
That's true.
So
that's true too.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought I'd give you a call and enjoy your show.
Thank you, No Saint. I appreciate the comment, man, and the great insight, my friend. You be safe out there, and who that to you, fam?
Thank you. Who that?
And that was No Saint. Thank you, No Saint, man, for that. Well said as well. And it does bear thinking. What say you, family? We ask some questions out there. I'm asking all the members of the Great Saint Think Tank to please be respectful one of each other. We are a family here, and we all bleed black and gold. We understand that we all people at the end of the day, and we know there's some frustrations, but we got to learn to keep this in check and make the correct moves. So please be respectful of each other. All right, family. Thank you for calling Sportscom. Who I'm speaking with?
Hey, Q. This is Nell.
I'm sorry. Say your name one more again, my friend.
Lionel.
Oh, Lionel. How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm all right, man.
Good.
Still a little down in the dumps mentally, but I've heard a couple of your previous callers, and as I stand here right now and having lived some of the experiences when I was a child, and the abuse that I was witness to, it's kind of hard to still believe that you've been playing this game with blacks since you came into the league. And with all the travesties that have occurred throughout the world and throughout our lives, in a manner of speaking, we could start with Trayvon Martin if you wanted to, that you can be insensitive or ignorant to what seems to continue. Now, I can understand, him having respect for the flag, but you can't forget there were blacks in the war too. When they came home, they weren't treated with much respect. They still had to walk through back doors. They still wasn't given opportunities economically, socially, or otherwise. Now, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say, wait and see. because we can beat the same drum, ever since 1968. We've been beating that drum.
Mm-hmm.
And as they came around then, I still think there's time for social change now. It's not that the opportunity has been lost. I just think that we hurt the most because we didn't see him in that light.
Mm-hmm.
And when his lips started moving, I don't think the brain was functioning simultaneously. Now, we are at a crossroads. And I think this is the second, maybe the third opportunity we've been given. And this is one starting point that can't fade away, won't go away, that we're going to carry for the rest of our lives. And the impact of this one incident now has a unified approach where we see not only the United States, but we see the same situation happening globally. I have friends that I know that went through Vietnam. And they told me in so many words, even when we were in those wars, the question was, why were we fighting the wars? Because you being persecuted as much as they're trying to persecute us now. We've seen horror. We've been hurt on more than one occasion, and we will always turn the other cheek and try to be peaceful, try to be understanding, try to re-educate, try to implement social change where, hey, just as you forced us to learn about you, it's time for you to learn about us. But I don't want to be repetitive, since I've been listening for a little bit, but I think all around, we all are about to be re-educated. Because if we're going to establish this moment as a base or foundation to move forward, we no longer have time to be distracted anymore. So I don't want to sit up here and, burn Drew or try to send him to hell or anything like that. I think he's a human being, and, as all human beings do, we're not perfect.
That's true, Lionel. Let me ask you this, my friend, because you make a lot of great points there. You made mention of the fact that you mentioned forgiveness and turn the other cheek. There's only really a handful of options that's presented. Now, once a person who made a really big mistake in our eyesight has to do to rectify the wrong, there is steps to this. Is an apology, and then there's is physical movement behind the initial apology. Now, this is just a statement that was released on Instagram. Then there's going to be a upfront press conference with him saying similar words. And then, of course, he'll have initiatives in place once he says these words that he will then move forward. Now, Demario Davis did make mention of the fact that he was speaking to him about knowing what the activist group, I want to say a community activist group, that Gail Benson is putting together, people like Malcolm Jenkins, Demario Davis, and other community-centered people on the Saints to go out and to execute community initiatives. Now, Drew, according to Demario in the interview we played from the first part of the show, he said that Drew wanted to know about that. So, of course, there is the written statement, then, of course, the actual physical statement, and then, of course, the action behind it. What is your process of thought on whether or not you will allow will you accept his apology and then move forward on letting him try to rectify his wrong? Would you say no, or would it overall do any of this make any difference to you as a Saint fan or a black man?
I can't wait to answer that.
Religiously, I would have to say that I would have to be able to forgive, but I won't forget.
Okay.
The implementation of these community initiatives that they plan on starting, let's see how far he reaches out.
Mm-hmm.
There have been exclusive communities that they generally always been favored to go. But there's still a lot of kids that remain unreached.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people still economically impacted, even though we're dealing with COVID. And I don't think, from my perspective, I think, to me, I'm not going to say we have the best police force, but we aren't as aggressive in the pursuit of killing anyone unless we've been threatened. But time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
Time can heal.
Yeah.
We're not going to sit up here and, play judge and jury on everyone, but we're going to have to more or less improve from, it starts in a stage where one is impacted, the next one wants to be a part of it. As that community initiative improves or is acted upon, or it creates another social idea, then let's see if anybody feeds off of these initiatives to more or less say we doing this because we fighting for the most part, we're fighting for our kids. Young black men.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have alternatives, we watch them die. We watch them become incarcerated. We watch them fade out of schools. Now, as a football fan, I think I've only had the opportunity to meet actual NFL player when I was somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe between 6 to 8 years old.
As a struggling actor.
And that was the first and last time I ever seen NFL players come even in my neighborhood. So the groundwork has to be laid, and we have to have a strong foundation in order to move forward. Okay. We gotta walk hand in hand. We can't walk this down the aisle solo. Yes, it's gonna hurt. Yes, there's gonna be some rejection. I won't say this will be the last encounter. But the whole idea is that we have to head in the direction that steers us upward and not downward.
Well, I mean, that's wise words there, Lionel. That's great words, man. Of wisdom, very wise words of wisdom. And you're right. You forgive them, but you're not gonna forget. But pay attention all the while we move ahead. I think that's a great sentiment, brother. I appreciate you for chiming in on the show, and who that to you. Much love to you too.
Back at you, Q.
Thank you, my brother. Peace.
Peace.
All right, family. Welcome to the show. Who's speaking?
Shalom. My name is Kayel. It's a pleasure to be on your show. I watch you often.
All right, thank you, my brother. Kyle is how you pronounce it, Kyle.
Yep, Chayil. But in
Okay,
the city, most people have known me as Glenn Jones. I have blackmasking.org,
okay.
where we chronicle the culture of the Indians here in the city.
All right. Oh, that's beautiful, brother. That's excellent, man. You talking about the Mardi Gras Indians and
Yes,
that's what you.
sir.
Okay.
Yes,
That's fantastic. What should okay, my brother? Well, welcome to the show, my friend. What is your thought process on what's going on right now with Drew, and what do you think about his issue statement of apology, and what's the next step for us?
well, first I must say, like everyone, my heart is torn.
Hmm.
And not torn as I don't know what I'm seeing or what I'm hearing, but just torn in the fact of a hurt, you know. And I want to address some of the things that Lionel just said, because I am a Hebrew more than anything else, and I read scripture a lot.
Okay.
And when we as a community have been given the Catholicism lens of our scripture, we believe that turning the other cheek is for everyone. That is not what scripture says. Scripture clearly states that we turn a cheek to our brothers and to our sisters. If a human being is not showing themselves to be understanding, empathetic, and we don't need sympathy. If that human being that is intelligent, as Drew Brees is, or as anyone of that stature is, then the sensitivities should not elude them. As we all know, Drew Brees has been a popular figure, a popular figure for a very long time. He has been coached on what to say, and how to deal with media. It's part of the Saints franchise organization. So when we are thinking about giving excuses or giving passes to someone that is, the word I would like to use is habitual. When you find that you have an habitual activity or behavior being done from an individual, then we must accept them for who they show us to be and not what their apology says they hope to be.
Okay.
When we see the picture of Drew with Trump, when Drew has made this statement about the kneeling when Kaepernick did it initially, everyone gave him a pass. We said, okay, your grandfather. We got it. Both grandfathers, we got it. But in the midst of 50 states in an entire uproar, where you would have to be under a rock somewhere to not know the temperature of the nation, and to stand firm on a statement without prefixing that statement with "I understand the climate and what's going on, but I feel for the flag and my parents, my grandparents that did such. That's why I don't do it." But he did not. And many times what a person does not say speaks more than what a person does say. We as a community have to get back to reading our scripture so we cannot be told what scripture it says. And we cannot be told what scripture means, because the scripture is the only thing that is keeping us from burning everything down. Right?
I gotta agree with you, man. Without the patience of that a lot of the scripture teaches people to have, there would have been a lot more stuff going on than what it is. And I think that mentality hold a lot of people back. So no doubt about it. A lot of people's religious views do keep their actions in check to a great degree. So you make a good point on that.
So thank you. So all I'm saying to our people that are diehard sports fans, your sport is not connected to an individual. Just like they tell you in the church, you don't go to church for the pastor. You don't watch the Saints for Drew Brees. Okay? You don't watch football for Drew Brees. You had a love for it since you were a child. You had a love for it since you were able to be competitive yourself. Okay? So let's not think that by doing what the scripture says to Drew Brees, which is the word is admonish.
Mm-hmm.
Admonish means that we have to flush out and be truthful of what was done, what it meant, and then we can move forward. Rhetoric is not what we need. We need admonishment and understanding. So, and if admonish him and deal with him in that manner, but your love for a sport and not an organization, because Saints is as well as, you know, football doesn't mean the Saints. Football doesn't mean the Patriots. Football doesn't mean the Super Bowl. Football means what we do as family members, as kids, when we threw the ball back and forth as kids, that camaraderie, the teamwork, all of that is already in our community. We have a football team. Our community is our football team. And when we realize that our football team is better than any football team in the world, and I'm going to back that up by saying the culture of the Indians is the original culture of the United States. We did not get this from Indians that were Mongolians. We got this because the Southwest of North America, before the Europeans came in 1541, was known as all Black Indians, Yamasee. So when we understand what we do in this city is keeping the culture of the original Aboriginal indigenous people of this land as the 1828 Noah Webster Dictionary definition of American reads. It is the copper-colored Aboriginal races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans. Facts. When we realize that our football team is uptown, downtown, back of town, around town, when we realize that the scripture is about us as the Jacob seed, and we know that this is what they call Jacob's troubles, which is Jeremiah chapter 30, to be exact. When you realize that all these things that's happening in the world is the Father, our Creator, is tearing down the yoke that's on our neck from our oppressors, then maybe we wouldn't feel so sorry for our oppressors, and we'll be able to put these things in proper context through the scripture. That's all I got to say.
Beautiful and well said, Kyle, man. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you a lot. Much love to you. And that's beautiful, bro.
Hey, I do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I do on Facebook Hebrew State of Being, where we break down what scripture is in a real understanding and not what we have been given. So Wednesday nights is our cultural appropriation night. That's the night that we talk about who we are as a people, what is being done in our government in the city of New Orleans, and how that plays out, because we understand that we are the people of Jericho. When the walls came tumbling down, they used trumpets to bring the walls down. That was the first time there was ever a second line, was Jericho going around 7 times. When we look at ourselves historically and give up the slave mentality and read and find that what we do can be found in ancient times as the original people, then we'll wake up and love each other the way we should.
All right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate those beautiful words, man. You be safe out there, and much love to you.
Shalom.
Shalom. All right. Appreciate the brother Kyle chiming in. Much love to you. Thank you, man. That was well said, brother. Okay, family members, chime in, please. Live line still open. Let me turn my mic up a little bit here. Yeah, you go. All right, live lines open, family. Appreciate the comments, family. The family members chiming in. Jonathan Wilson, Gundam 13, No Sate. Lionel chimed in as well, and brother Kyle just chimed in. There's live lines open, family. 504-475-4482. You heard the statement by Drew Brees. What is your thought process? What is your thought process on it? What's the next step? Where do we go from here? Thank you for calling the Sports Coma, family. Who am I speaking with?
Yo, man, it's goddamn Breeze, man.
All right, what's going on, Drew goddamn Breeze? How you feeling, brother?
Feeling drunk, even though I woke up. I don't know how that worked. I didn't drink last night.
It's a hard night, brother. You heard Drew's apology, my friend. What's your thought process on it? Where we go from here?
I need them type of PR people in my life. Anytime I make a mistake, I need them. Straight up.
You're not. Well, it's saying that he got. I just seen Sufian say there's a video with Drew talking. I was looking that up. I didn't see anything. So if family members find the video, please post a link in the section, and I'll gladly play it for the entire Great Saints Think Tank. I was looking for it.
You know
I
what? You can't find the full video anywhere. You only see that part.
Yeah, I'm talking about the apology video that he's supposed to be an actual physical apology, like when him actually talking about it. I have not been able to find that, family. I'm just gonna keep it honest with you. If I did, I would play it. But if you guys have it, please put the link in the chat, and I'll gladly try to attach to it and play it. But Drew, where do we go from here, family? What's the next step? Do you forgive Drew Brees? You heard his statement. A lot of the teammates have already forgiven him. His initiatives to make it to you. Do you forgive him and move forward, or what's the thought process in your opinion?
Well, you forgive, but you never forget. You know, his reputation already shot up.
So it's no coming back. So it's no amount of work. Even if the guy means, and I'm not saying he does, but let's say if there isn't any amount of work, and it's a lot of work that he would have to roll up his sleeves and get to work. But is it no? You're saying there's no way coming back from what happened to him the other day.
Well, let me just give you my opinion. You know,
okay.
I don't really see how other people outside of Louisiana are going to see him, because a lot of people in Louisiana and in New Orleans give Drew Brees a hero complex, especially after the Hurricane Katrina and after the Super Bowl. Like he's pretty much legendary. He's pretty much legendary on himself into people's hearts and minds. But you know, after everything that's going on, after what you heard him say, and how everybody else's thoughts and opinions, like that QB Jake Fromm, he got exposed. Somebody exposed him.
Mm-hmm.
But him saying what he said, like I don't know how that's gonna go. I don't know if you're gonna see a lot of boos or not, too. But that'll be interesting to see.
I doubt he will. Nobody cares about Jake Fromm. Just gonna keep it honest with you. And you know, when stuff come down to the New Orleans Saints, is always magnified. No matter what it is, it's just magnified. But Drew Brees, if people say, some people believe they shouldn't give him a chance, some people do. You know, and that's fine. But and you're the several Great Saints Think Tank member to say that we forgive, but we don't forget, and that if the man is genuine, and I can't tell his heart. You know, I'm not that damn good. I mean, I can't read what his heart is even. I know. Listen, I can tell you what. Like No Saint says, man, I got to give you credit because you called it. You said tomorrow he'll issue an apology. And I was like, nah, he seems pretty dug in. I knew he would issue an apology because I know how public figures act that give a damn about their public appearance. And he wasn't going to stand pat and let his reputation take shots and holes. The fastest he could do is to wait till the next day where people go to sleep and wake up semi-calm again, or wherever you want to phrase it, and then issue an apology as early as you possibly can. And then come behind it with works and actions to prove to the people who you did a wrong to, that you want to make it right. I mean, that's just what it is. And if he's serious about it, I don't know. I can't read his heart in that fixture. But if the opportunity is, if the man wants to show you, then do you then say, okay, well, you know, go ahead on. And that's the process of thought that we looking at. And that most of us probably won't give him a shot. Most of his teammates probably will. But I know it's just up to, I guess, people as a whole. You know what I'm saying?
They want them offensive rookie of the year.
But you know, yeah, and that's the part of it. A lot of family members, I begin. GM Kev was saying, "Q, the season over with." I got several other family members saying the same thing. Q, the season over with. And I'm not so. And listen, I'm not over with. Right. I'm not in that frame of thought. And I'm gonna tell you exactly why I feel that way. Because it's still very early. And there's still a lot of stuff going on. Listen, we upset about this right now, but there'll be something horrible that'll happen a week from now or even a month from now that'll make this seem as small as fleas walking around in the dirt. I'm telling you, and it's real stuff going on here. And you're going to see a lot more stuff, more pertinent, more heavy happen in the general world view than what Breeze said about what he just said recently. I'm just telling you how it is. They'll have some stuff right now that's gonna blow this to hell. So that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of time between here. A lot of works could be done, but we gonna have to see, man. And I'm just saying the mindset overall of the public is we forget things quickly. We could be forgetting that, and the politicians know that. They'll say horrible stuff tomorrow, and then 2 weeks from now, a month from now, then you already forgot that because they constantly coming out with more and more stuff. So they know how the public mind frame of the people is a short attention span on stuff, and they play on that. So that's what the question come down to. It is moving forward. It's hot right now, but man, listen, what you got? 2-3 months until the season start? A couple of months before the season start? You thinking they're gonna forget about that? I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people will. A lot of people will, and some people won't. And we'll just have to see how it through. But like the brother Lardell said, time will tell everything. Bottom line. You got any more comments you want to put on there, Drew? Goddamn Breeze, bro. Got another call coming right behind you, brother.
Yeah. I was gonna just say that they're gonna have to put it to the side too, especially for this season. And I just thought it was funny because when Drew Brees was trending on Twitter, they had memes of Jameis and Taysom Hill fighting for the position there. I thought that was hilarious. Well, that's all I got though, because coronavirus just happened. A lot of pop stars just died. You got Ebola cases going on in Africa. Had a murder hornet scenario going on. You got killer bees and shit.
Massive starvation going across the world. There's still there's a comment there saying there's still the return of what could be the virus. So I mean, it's a lot of stuff that's gonna come on that's gonna kind of just knock this off the front page. And Demi said the virus. You're absolutely right. There'll be other things that'll come that'll knock this to hell. And the question is, most of us will remember, and we will hold him to the standard he's supposed to be held in to have our trust and to have our love. That's the bottom line, and we'll just have to see. But thank you, brother, for chiming in. I appreciate you, man.
Well, look, I'm gonna say this one last thing. I'm gonna forgive Drew Brees I'm gonna consider him like them old white man who just acting ignorant. But if Drew Brees choke one more goddamn time in the playoffs, I don't give a damn. He ain't shit to me at all.
Okay. Okay. All right. I got that. All right, my friend. I appreciate you. Who that tell you be safe out there, fam? Peace. All right, family. Thank you for waiting on the line so patiently. Who are we speaking with?
Hey, how you doing, man? You good? My name is James. Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay, James Taylor.
James.
Just James. James. Okay. Okay. There's another James.
I'm from Shreveport, man. I be listening to you all the time.
Thank you, James. Appreciate you. What you think about this, my friend? You heard Drew's apology. I'm looking it up. Family got family in the great Saint thing saying Nick 504. Who that to you, Nick? Says Big Q Drew just put out a video apology as well. All right, I'm looking for that right now. I'm gonna pull it up and play it. Just give me an opportunity. I'm looking for it now. Scoop says, I am your ally, says Drew in recent video. Kevin says it's going to divide or pull the locker room together. Time will tell. All right, James, bro. Appreciate you. Much love to Shreveport. Big ups to Shreveport. Chiming in, representing. What's your thought process, my friend, on Drew's apology? And where do you think we go from here?
On the apology?
Mm-hmm.
Man, Drew, man, you just stepped in something you just can't get out of. Like, this the kind of doo-doo that you can't get off your shoes, man. Like, I don't know. I understand your apology, man, but I just want to know what your thought process was when you were doing that interview. Like, you got a family. You putting a target not just on you, the team, your family. You got wife and kids and all that, man. Like, you shouldn't just be saying that. Like, you know how Drew is. You get to talking so much, he just gets to talking out his ass. He don't be knowing sometimes. We seen this before, but on this part, I think he should have just, like what Malcolm Jenkins said, just shut the hell up. Because this year, you ain't really did nothing anyway. Like, I'm still mad at you from the Minnesota game. So, I've been at odds with you since then. So now you done pulled this. Like, man, nah, I don't know. We already had too much spotlight on us anyway. We trying to get a Super Bowl this year, and man, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna go from here. I really don't.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, man. And I just I don't know what to say about it. It's a tough thing, but like I said, it's raw right now. But I know eventually it will subside with time, and like that old saying about time heals all wounds, and we move forward from it, and we'll just have to see about it, man. But it's no doubt about it tough, James.
Yeah, it's dark right now. I don't know, man. We just want to concentrate on football and stuff, with all this other stuff going on. Drew, that just wasn't the right time to say nothing like that. We understand about the flag, but the flag ain't important right now. That's not important at all right now. That same flag, y'all, how you feel about that flag? This is how we feel about this. There's too much stuff going on to care about a flag right now, I don't know, man. Drew just was on one yesterday. I don't know, man. I don't know what he was thinking. Then he did it to some Yahoo Finance interview, whatever it is. Man, out of all the people, Yahoo Finance, whoever them people is, you could have just came on the podcast and said that or something, Anyway, besides that, we don't even know what that is, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I see Michael Thomas say he forgave him for it, and I see DeMario Davis talk about it this morning on ESPN. So,
right,
man, them people, they're never gonna forget that stuff, man. I'm not gonna never forget. I can't even really look at him the same. I can't look at him the same no more after the Minnesota game. Like I'm still not over there. So, and then he come back with this, man. I just don't know, Drew. I don't know.
Yeah, it's no doubt. It's definitely tough, James, bro. But like I said, man, it's we got some time, man, and
we got time.
We got time to make it through it. But like so many of the family members say, man, I might forgive them, but I won't forget, and then what you do from this point forward will be under the microscope because of your actions, and we'll see if you can live up to that. That would be the thing moving forward.
Don't let them come out playing bad.
This is going to
need to make it worse.
This will be a very difficult season in terms of just football and stuff. But but really, to walk this path, he gonna have a lot of work to do. Just to be honest with you, and that's what it come down to. But James, man, any closing thoughts, my friend, before we move on to the next caller?
Oh no, man. I appreciate you for taking my call, though, man. We, like you say, we got time. We might can get through this, man. But you never know. We might can, but right now, I don't know. I just really don't know.
It's kind of a sensory overload with everything going on, man. And it's just getting bombarded. And I think this is the time where a lot of people, I think after this, it's kind of decompress and disconnect for a while, meditate, and just move forward, man, and collect our thoughts and move forward, because this has been a very difficult season period when you talk about the virus, then the police brutality and all that, and now you come with the sports stuff, which most people use the sports as a method to escape from stuff of hardships, and then when you come to sports for relief, you're dealing with it in the sports. So I mean, we can understand why people are kind of really overloaded. But thank you, James. Appreciate you, man. Big ups to your fam. Thank you for chiming in. And who that to you, fam?
All right, man. Who that to you? Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Who that? And that was James from Shreveport. Much love to James. I got it, Derek. Appreciate you, my brother. I'm about to spin it now. This is Drew Brees. He issued a video apology 11 minutes ago. Sports Center. Thanks, Derek, for finding it for me. I'm going to have to send Derek to find all the damn videos. Derek finds them all, man. Thank you, Derek, once again, family. Now, in just a moment, family, I'm going to spin Drew. This is Drew's statement. It's just under a minute long. This is fresh off the press right here, so to speak. So here's Drew Brees' video statement on when he said his apology. Here we go.
I know there's not much that I can say that would make things better right now, but I just want you to see in my eyes how sorry I am for the comments that I made yesterday. I know that it hurt many people, especially friends, teammates, former teammates, loved ones, people that I care and respect deeply. That was never my intention. I wish I would have laid out what was on my heart in regards to the George Floyd murder, Ahmaud Arbery, the years and years of social injustice, police brutality, and the need for so much reform and change in regards to legislation and so many other things to bring equality to our Black communities. I am sorry, and I will do better. And I am your ally. And I know no words will do that justice. That's going to happen. I know there's not.
All right, family, that's some of Drew's right there. I'm going to see if I can kind of share my screen and get Drew on so you can see him saying it. And let me see if this will work here. We'll try
Not much that I can say that would make things any better right now. But I just want you to see in my eyes how sorry I am for the comments that I made yesterday. I know that it hurt many people, especially friends, teammates, former teammates, loved ones, people that I care and respect deeply. That was never my intention. I wish I would have laid out what was on my heart in regards to the George Floyd murder, Ahmaud Arbery, the years and years of social injustice, police brutality, and the need for so much reform and change in regards to legislation and so many other things to bring equality to our Black communities. I am sorry, and I will do better, and I will be part of the solution, and I am your ally. And I know no words will do that justice. That's going to happen.
All right, that's some of it right there, family, of Drew addressing it live. So he came out with the video statement. Thank you, family, for letting us know about that. It just dropped not too long ago. And that is the statement now. Now we've seen a written statement. We've seen a video statement with Drew's face as he apologized before the nation. What say you, Great Saint Think Tank? Do you accept Drew's apology? And then we just put this behind us and move forward. Forgive, but don't forget. That seems to be the overlining issue that the majority of the Great Saint Think Tank is trending with. That is going with the top banner mindset is forgive, but don't forget. And if you agree with that, family, I think you throw a thumbs up in the who that in the chat. But does this overall this thought process that I just made mention of, forgiving and never forgetting, do you guys agree about that? Do you agree about this? Because we had such a high opinion of this person, and now that you've seen him in a statement, does it make you feel any better in terms of believing what the man is saying? Is what I'm asking you. What is your thought process on that? Please engage. Let me know. Who that to the family members chiming in? Delcom28, much love to your family. I see. So I want to know how the team meeting went today. Jarvis Collins went big up Streetport in the building 318. Jarvis as well. Lori says he's a good man. Thank you, Lori. Earl McMurray says he made a mistake. We forgive you, Drew. Thank you, Earl. Who that to you? Lori says, yes, Drew, I forgive you. Love you. Demi says, wow, he has aged since this came out. He look kind of terrible on there with 5 o'clock shadow and every damn thing. So, you know, we'll do, what is it, family? How do you feel about it? Live line is open, 504-475-4482. This is a show called The Reaction Show, and is, of course, your reaction. What is the Great Saint Think Tank, who overall supports the team and supports the family of Drew Brees and his businesses and everything? What do you guys think about this? We heard what Earl says. We heard what Demi says and Lori, and in their process of thinking. Do you agree with those family members as well? Kevin says, I wish some of this would have come out during the interview. Thank you, Kevin. Valerie, who that to you? Valerie says, right, Earl, we have all made mistakes and said or done things we wasn't too proud of. My God, how many times does the man have to apologize? I do forgive him. Thank you, Valerie. Much love to you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Live lines open, family members chime in. Look like a lot of the Great Saint Think Tank family members have forgiven Drew. Travis Jones, I see your family. Salute to you as well, family. Good to see you in the chat. Much love to you as well. And this is a great, a great deal. So I'm asking, who that to you, Neville? I see you, Neville. Much love to you as well. What do you guys think about this? I mean, chime in. The live line's open. Feel free to hit the live line up. It's a 504-475-4482. Get your thought process. Get your word out there, family. We'll be on the air for at least another 20, maybe another, I said probably another 35 minutes. This is just going to be we're 35 minutes on air. So if that's the case, family, I want y'all to please get on in here and get your call in before we stop the stream. We'll be going off air in about 35 minutes. So thank you, Derek, for submitting that leak. Who that to you, DJ? Okay, thank you, DJ, for helping out with that as well, and the rest of the family members. Let's see. Delcom says, Laura says, worry about football season. Delcom said, I want to know how the team meet. Okay, I read that already. Let's go on down here. Let's see. Delcom said, this will definitely be Breeze's last year in New Orleans. Let's see. Jermaine said, it's a cover up. It's going to take a while. Okay, Demi says, love you, Drew. Okay, so thank the family members for chiming in as well. 504-475-4482, live lines open. Drew Brees apologized. I will spin it again, family members, for some of the family members who did miss it. I will spin his video apology once again. So I'm going to share the screen once again and spin Drew's video apology to the rest of the family, just in case y'all missed it. Here's Drew Brees' statement, once again, his video statement, so people can see it as well. Who that to you, Shedrick? I see you. Scoop says, man, if I got out what I did in the Piggly Wiggly last week, I wouldn't need y'all's forgiveness too. All right, family, here's Drew Brees once again with his video apology. Here we go.
I know there's not much that I can say that would make things any better right now, but I just want you to see in my eyes how sorry I am for the comments that I made yesterday. I know that it hurt many people, especially friends, teammates, former teammates, loved ones, people that I care and respect deeply. That was never my intention. I wish I would have laid out what was on my heart in regards to the George Floyd murder, Ahmaud Arbery, the years and years of social injustice, police brutality, and the need for so much reform and change in regards to legislation and so many other things to bring equality to our Black communities. I am sorry, and I will do better, and I will be part of the solution, and I am your ally. And I know no words will do that justice. That's going to happen. I know there's not much that I can say that.
And that's the Drew Brees' a video apology. He said a lot during that apology. And I see some of the family members, Shedrick, who that to you, Ella May, who that to you, Ella, I see you, good to see you in the chat, says, forgive Brees, we all make mistakes, but he's a good man and a leader of the team. Thank you, Ella May. Ramsey, who that to you, Ramsey, he says, who that Q, I forgive Drew. All right, I don't know if you meant to rhyme like that, but that's pretty damn good. Dada says, I will forgive him soon as he throws a damn touchdown. Derek says, I can't cast no stones. All right, I see you, Derek. Let's see. Demi wants to know what's going on in the Piggly Wiggly school. Ella May says, much love, Drew. You are our guy. Thank you, Ella. Ramsey says, this season the Saints are really have to play for one another and show true brotherhood. This could be a galvanizing moment now. This could be a really galvanizing moment. I know we're not thinking about that like that right now, but I'm telling you, things happen to people at the most unique times. And this could be a galvanizing moment, not just strictly because of the person, but the team as well. Events like this tend to bring us together or they rip us apart. So, I mean, we'll see just how well this will work, but this could be potentially a galvanizing moment in any regard, either whether for the team or for the people. We'll see. Okay, Laura says he's our leader. DeWright, what up, DeWright? Says sometime you need that light to come on by a different outlet. Well, his light is on, all forgiven. So, okay, the family member sounding very forgiving. Demi says, were you protesting, Scuba? But that's Drew Brees' video apology, family. And I guess I can do a poll right quick, because I guess that'll be good. Please hit the like button, family, as well. And I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to do a poll in the chat. And my moderators, I'm going to try to get y'all to keep a record of who's in the poll. We're going to do like a sports coma poll, the Great Saint Think Tank poll, family. Out of all of the people, everybody in the show that's listening, and because mostly we have people that listen, and sometimes we have people that just pay attention, that just listen. They just listen, and some that are active in the chat, and that's fine. I'm asking everybody out there, we're going to do a poll. If you are for Drew Brees and you forgive Drew, I want you to put Drew 1 in the chat. Drew 1 in the chat. Drew 1 in the chat if you are forgiving Drew and moving forward. If you don't forgive Drew, put Drew 2 in the chat. So if you're for Drew, put Drew 1. If you're not, put Drew 2. If you're for Drew, Drew 1. If you're not for Drew, Drew 2. I'm going to do a quick poll just to get an idea of who or how many people in the chat are forgiving Drew. So let's go ahead on and try that. Nick 504 says, wow, and now Mike Thomas and others are calling out the NFL. Okay, that's interesting. All right, Damone says, you are a man of great character and always stood against injustice and racism before all lies. 2 more years, Drew. Okay, thank you. Okay, Valerie says Drew 1. DeWright says Drew 1. Keith N says Drew 1. Iceman says, I forgive him, but I feel like some of the teammates won't be able to fully trust him. So I guess that's a Drew 1, Iceman. Okay, Teal. Thank you, Teal. Derek says Drew 1. Jermaine says Drew 2. He doesn't. Damone says Drew 1. Nick says Mahomes, Saquon are also helping. Scoop says Drew 1. Lori says Drew 1. Sufayan, thank you, Sufayan, says Drew 1. Ella says Drew 1. 985J says Drew 1. Cheryl says Drew 1. Who that for life, Cheryl? Kevin says 3. What's 3, Kev? Explain to me what's 3, Kev. Oh, it's indifferent. You don't have an opinion. Is that what that means? Neville says Drew 2. John Thompson, who that to you, John? Good to see you, fam. Says Drew 2. Okay, so we have, it appears, 3 Drew 2s and a bunch of Drew 1s. Okay, 504 Bulls says Drew 2 as well. So that is what, 4 Drew 2s? Okay. All right, so, all right, it seems to be the majority of the family members. Please vote, family. I want to get the pulse of the Great Saint Think Tank. I want to know where you guys stand on this issue. Do you forgive Drew? Drew 1. If not, hit the Drew 2. I guess Kev says Drew 3. I guess it doesn't mean anything one way or the other, I guess. Is Drew 1 or Drew 2, family? Let me know. Look like the bulk of the voters are putting on there Drew 1. Okay, Demi says Drew 1. Okay, always. Thank you, Demi. So that anybody else in the chat want to chime in? Okay, Iceman says Drew 2. He does not forgive him. So that's 5 Drew 2s and a bunch of Drew 1s. Okay. TW says doesn't need my forgiveness. Didn't say anything wrong. Was asked a question and just answered it. Okay, thank you, TW. Kevin says 3 is given an opportunity with actions. As for now, I'm neither yay or nay. Okay, thank you, bro. Keith then says the 2s stop to think about it. Okay. All right, so we have 5 Drew 2s here. We got 1 Drew 3 and a bunch of Drew 1s here. Okay. You know, anybody else want to chime in and vote? Drew 1, if you for Drew and you forgive Drew. Drew 1 is forgiving Drew. Drew 2 is not forgiving Drew. And Drew 3 is, like Kevin says, that 3 is given an opportunity with action. Okay, so Keith says the Drew 2 stop to think about it. DJ says Drew 1. Thank you, DJ. Derek says 12-5. Okay, Derek. I guess he's replying to something else. Anybody else want to vote in there? Dada says Drew 1. Thank you, Dada. Bunch of Drew 1s blowing out the Drew 2s in the chat, fam. Shedrick says Drew 1. Thank you, Shedrick. Who that to you? And that just heavy-handed. Oh, okay, that's the count. Thank you, Derek. Okay, he's saying it's the count. Okay, thank you. I 12 to 5. I got you, Derek. Okay, 12 to 5 thus far. Okay, it's pretty heavy-handed right now. All right, let's keep it going, fam. Okay, 13 to 5. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Dada says Drew 3. Thank you, Dada. Ferg 318 says Drew 1. Thank you, Ferg. Scoop says 15 to 1, Drew. Karasa Bloodstone. What up, Ken Rossi says kudos for Drew giving honest opinion. I didn't think he would. So Ken Rasa, let me ask you, family. Are you Drew 1, Drew 2? What do you say about it? Delcom says Drew 3. Just like Kevin is, GM Kev is. Okay, thank you, Delcom. Dada, flip it. Okay. All right, well, okay, anybody else? 504 Bull says the issue is Drew is knowledgeable on this situation. He says he stated how he felt about it. All we do is keep him forgiving him. And he says, hold on, let me read that again, 504 Bull. The issue is Drew is knowledgeable on this situation. He stated how he felt about it. All we do is keep forgiving and get mushed in our faces. Thank you, 504 Bull, for that. Scoop says, Demi, Big Mac with fries. Ken Rasa says, okay. Drew 1. Okay, thank you, Ken Rasa. Ramsey says Drew 1 as well. What's the count on that so far, Derek? What you got, fam? Okay, Tyra says Drew 3. Okay, D3. As long with Delcom and Kevin. Or in the Drew. Okay, Tyra says Drew 3. So we got 4 Drew 3s, which is Tyra, Kevin, Delcom 28, and okay. All right. G-Reed 504 says, okay, so we starting to get the 3s up now. Okay, that's 5. Okay, we getting the 3s up. Thank you. Okay, Ken Rasa says, I just forgive him. By now he realized it hurt people. Okay, thank you. Okay, what's the count now, Dot? I've got still the Drew 1s are still winning, even though the Drew 3s have gained ground on the Drew 2s. So the Drew 2s are now in the little, okay, 16. Okay, Scoop says 16 number 1s. Okay, thank you, Scoop. 16 Drew 1s. DJ says, okay, enough of this. I'm about to play Madden. Y'all be safe. Also stay safe as Saints fans. Thank you, DJ. Peace out. Iceman says Drew 3. Okay, I got you. Dada says, I thought they were talking about how many years he was staying till they heard the question. Okay, so a lot of Drew 1s here, a lot of D1s. A 504 Easy says the Drew 2. Thank you there, fam. Okay, so you got 16 1s in the count. Still by far more than anybody else. Okay, 17 to 5 and 6 3s. Okay, I got you. Thank you, Derek. Much love to you. 17 Drew 1s, 5 Drew 2s, and 6 Drew 3s. So the 3s are outnumbering the 2s, and the 1s are running away with it. Anybody else want to vote and throw they vote in right now, family? Drew 1, D1 or Drew 1 represents you forgive them. Drew 2, you don't. Drew 3 means that you forgive with actions. You know, that's the general, that's Kev's idea. Valerie says 100 times 1. Okay, thank you, Valerie, as well. And the 1s seem to be just running things. The 1s are running things. They are out in front. Anybody else want to vote in there? Anybody want to throw in their vote? Please feel free to vote. I'm going to spin it one more time for those who didn't hear the Drew interview. We're going to spin it one more time so people can hear it for the final time here.
I know there's not much that I can say that would make things any better right now, but I just want you to see in my eyes how sorry I am for the comments that I made yesterday. I know that it hurt many people, especially friends, teammates, former teammates, loved ones, people that I care and respect deeply. That was never my intention. I wish I would have laid out what was on my heart in regards to the George Floyd murder, Ahmaud Arbery, the years and years of social injustice, police brutality, and the need for so much reform and change in regards to legislation and so many other things to bring equality to our Black communities. I am sorry and I will do better, and I will be part of the solution, and I am your ally. And I know no words will do that justice. That's going to happen.
All right, and that's the interview right there from Drew Brees. It came out not too long ago. Thanks to Family Members for sending the link there. And of course, like we said, if anybody didn't vote on the Drew, do you forgive them or no? And so far in the chat, a lot of people, I appreciate the guys that vote. And if you haven't cast your vote, please feel free to chime in now. Do you forgive Drew after this video statement and the written statement that was released today? Do you forgive him? Or no, do you not forgive him? Drew 2 means you don't forgive him. Drew 1 means you do. And Drew 3 means that you forgive, but with action. So we have had a lot of Drew 3s, and I think the Drew 3s are outranking the 2s, but the 1s are in far ahead in the race. Tyra says, I forgive Breeze, but it definitely should be some action behind it. That's definitely it. That's great. Any other family members, feel free to vote on it and let the Great Saint Think Tank know how you feel about it. Could you get this guy an opportunity to come back and do some things? Do you forgive him? He said something that was out of line. He issued a written statement. He comes out with a video statement knowing that people would say, you can't make the appearance. You can't say it. You did it. And with a video, you said what you said. You have to rectify it with a video and then proceed with action. So a lot of people, so he did that today. Now the course of action, now that he did that, the response is then on you to decide on how you're going to see this going forward. It's not on me, but it's rather on you, being that you're the person that is going through that experience. What do you say and how do you feel? And okay, Derek says 18 yeses, 5 no's, and 6 yeses with actions. Thank you, Derek. Thank you for keeping that count there, friend. 18 yeses. Wow. Okay, get the poll out to more people. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. Okay, family, do you feel the same? We still got a few people that didn't chime in. Okay, Tyrone, who that to you, Tyrone? Tyrone says number 2 right there. So that brings the no's up to 6. So it's 18 yeses, 6 no's, and 6 threes. So Tyra says the first step was the public video, like I was saying yesterday, because he said it in public. That's correct. If you do something in public wrong, you can't then issue a written statement. If you was on video saying it, you got to fix it, and then you got to go beyond it. So we'll see. He looks serious about it. I don't know the man's heart, but all I know is his community actions. He always said Drew was a stand-up person. Well, this is an opportunity to see if he can stand up and live up to the words. We all know that the guy's a 6-foot quarterback in the NFL who doesn't have the strongest arm, is not the fastest man, not the tallest man, but he did things that most people who are severely more athletic than him were able to do. I mean, this probably be one of the most toughest challenges that he will ever undertake. But do I think that he won't be able to do it? I most certainly think that if anybody capable of rectifying their wrongs, it's definitely this guy. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But like I said, man, action along with, you say the words, now may the actions, let the actions dictate what you do as opposed to the words. You laid it out. Now walk within those steps. Walk within those steps. Walk within those steps. Thank you. Who that to you, Darrell Freeman? I see your family. Who that to you as well? Charles Mayfield. Who that to you as well? And the rest of the family. Derek says it's equal with no and yeses. Thank you, Derek. Okay, thank you, Tyra, for agreeing with me, baby. Big ups to you on that. Okay, family. Anybody that's chiming in the show right now, please do me 2 things. Please hit the like button, number 1, and please, we're holding a poll right now. I'm trying to get the sense of the Great Saints Think Tank. You have an opportunity to vote right now. And this is out to all the people that have not voted yet. The poll is this: Drew 1 if you forgive Drew Brees. You can put D1 in there, or 1. 2 or Drew 2 for those who don't forgive Drew. Drew 2 or D2, or 3 D3, which is forgiveness with action. So please vote if you have not voted yet. Okay. Lionel says Drew 1. Okay, that's another one for Drew. Thank you to Lionel. King Creole the first. What's up, family? Who that tell you? Good to see you. He said, I don't forgive Breeze, or are we gonna forgive? Okay, I got you, family. He says, Drew 2, I have no more cheeks to turn. Thank you, King Creole. The first, thank you for your vote. So King Creole is a 2. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Tyra says, before Breeze can even throw a pass, this city embraced him. D1 says Charles. Thank you, Charles. D3 says Benjamin Smith. Who that to you, Benjamin? Thank you for chiming in and voting, family. And instead, the rest of the Great Saint Think Tank who have not voted, I want to get the sense overall of the Great Saint Think Tank. We got a poll going on right now. Do you forgive Drew? D1. D1 is the forgiveness of Drew Brees. You forgive him after hearing his video statement that I played a few moments ago several times. D2, if you don't forgive him, or D3, forgiveness with action. Okay, Benjamin says D3 there. Okay, thanks, Benjamin, as well. All right, thank the rest of anybody who hadn't voted. Please feel free to vote right now to get a sense of it. Now, where are we at right now, Scoob and Derek? Okay, hold on. Where exactly we are right now? Okay, 8. Derek says originally it was 8. So we have, okay, that's 2 more, so it should be 20, right? There's 20 D1s, 20 D1s, and we will be looking at 6 no's and 7 D3s. Is that was the sense of what I've gotten right now? So it appears like the actually, yeah, 7. So it looked like the D3s are outranking the D2s right now. That's pretty tough, King Creole. But you know, if that's your perspective, brother, you know, that's pretty tough. You know, but you know, it is what it is. And you know, Ramsey said it doesn't really matter if we forgive him or not. What matters is if God forgives him, because he's the only one that knows Drew's heart. Okay, thank you for that, Ramsey. Very wise words. Scoob says 20 to 7 to 8. Okay, so it's 21s, 7 2s, and 8 3s. Okay, so the 3s are outranking. So the lowest person on the totem poles are the 7s. Okay, Hennessy, who that to you, Hennessy? Hennessy Bastion chiming in. Good to see you, Hennessy. Hennessy says 3. So it's 21s, 7 2s, and 9 3s. All right, big ups. That's it, and that's what I'm saying. If you haven't voted yet either, family, please feel free to come to participate with the rest of the family members and get your vote in. D1 if you support Drew, D2 if you disagree with him and you don't forgive him, and D2 if you don't forgive him, or D3 you forgive with action. Okay, so I mean that's interesting, man. So we got 20 people in the chat that agrees with Drew Brees and forgives him. And we have 7 people that don't forgive him, and more than that, 9 people who says we will forgive you, but your action has to come along with those beautiful or heartfelt words. So that shows a lot. Nelly says D3, chocolate milk acting speaks louder than words. Thank you, Nelly. Nelly says D3. Thank you, Nelly. So that the D3 crew is running away with this thing in terms of second place, but still out in the head of it is the D1 camp. They're running the show right now. Die Hard says, "I'm back, Big Q." Okay, good to see you back, family. As well. Okay, Scoob says the count is 20 to 7 to 9. Okay, 20. I forgive Drew's. 7. I don't forgive Drew, and 9. I will forgive Drew with action. So look like the D3 camp is in second place, and the number 1 camp is running away with this here thing. So as you can see, a large majority of the Great Saint Think Tank people who have voted, because there's still a few people that have not voted, and I'm trying to get accustomed, because there might be guys that might equal this thing. If you're thinking 2 or 3, please fill in the chat, hit D1, D2, or D3 to let us know how you feel about the situation, being that this is the Great Saint Think Tank. And also hit the like button as well, family. Please hit the like button and put the smash down on that damn thing. But this is interesting, man. Like we said, we played Drew. He apologized, and I knew he was going to apologize, because Drew Brees is the type of dude that can't let that sit up there like that. He probably ain't even sleep all night. He ain't going to let that sit up there like that. especially if you respect. Listen, you could, if you listen, and I'm gonna say this: Drew Brees got to understand if he's a people person and and that's a leader of a team. Listen, you can't be this man's the quarterback of the team. That means he's the leader of the team. There are whites, blacks, Hispanics, different cultures and ethnicities on that team that look at him as the leader. He cannot have that to stand. You have to fix this. You have to rectify this wrong. And you're going to have to do a lot of work. Probably it's going to be a large undertaking. Do I think he can do it? Hell yeah, I think he can do it. No doubt about it. And you say, well, Q, how you think he going to do it? Because based upon what he did in his football life, it could prepare him for something like this. And then on top of that, the reality is that his name is on the line. And for him to be attached to something that's uncomfortable to him, he gonna do whatever he have to do to fix it. I'm just keeping it real with you. We talking about a 41-year-old quarterback in the league that could have retired several years ago. That's over $200 million richer, who could really take his money and go somewhere and don't give a damn what nobody think. You know, he should be like some of them guys on Fox. Well, I said it, I meant it. And truth be told, you know, people can say what they want to say just as long as they're not saying something that's advocating killing of nobody. I don't agree about that. But you're right. People can say what they want to say, but also people can react to the way you want to react. They can choose to support you or not support you. And remember, the game is support. And if people feel slighted, then we draw support down. And I want to add this because there are a lot of companies here in the world that we buy from. Okay. How many of the great think tank members have iPhones out there? Huh? How many people got iPhones? I don't have an iPhone. I have an Android. I don't like iPhone, but that's not because of the reason I'm about to state. But did a lot of people know that Apple and the Apple computers and all that was tied to the death camps and Nazis? Did they know that ugly history? That a lot of the banking companies that we got our money in the bank of were tied to slavery. A lot of the insurance companies, the old insurance companies were tied to slavery. Do people realize that? See, and when we realize that they have those dark undertones to them, you're not supposed to support them. And you have the right to support whoever you want to support. Who am I to tell you not to support somebody? That's up to you. And I promote critical thinking is all I do. I promote critical thinking. I promote that you are supposed to have a critical mentality and always, every day, to fight to improve and be smarter and stronger than what you were the day before. That's what I advocate. Okay. And and whatever you come from or whoever you are or whatever your vision is or your perspective is, you should be looking to clarify your lens every day on your perspective. And that don't come with being isolated and sitting somewhere onto yourself, formulating opinions onto yourself. Talk to other people that don't look like you and get a general perspective of the world overall. And that's how we can learn to have a dialogue and understand where people are coming from here. That's all. Nobody's asking for no money. Just wake up and do and just open that lens is what I'm saying. Open that lens like the cameraman do. If you get a blurred vision on his camera, he's going to adjust the lens to get the clear perspective as he possibly can. We just played. He said a second apology, Sport Talk 365. I just played one that was attached to Twitter. If you got a link for something, bro, go ahead and attach it in the section and I'll play it for the family members as well. But I see a lot of family members jumped in. Now, what we doing, family? We doing a vote right now. For those who just jumped in, we're doing a vote. We're taking a vote because we played the Drew Brees. I've read the statement earlier the show and I played the video about Drew apologizing. Now we're holding a poll to see where the great Saint Think Tank family members' thought processes are. D1 is that you forgive Drew Brees. D2 is that you don't forgive Drew Brees, and D3 is that you will forgive but with action behind it. Okay? Now please vote. Please vote if you want your words to be heard. Okay, I see the family members. Johnny G003 says, think his words got a bit construed. Thank you, Johnny. Teal says Big Q Drew was up all night packing back and forth. yeah. I know it. Like he was on like the game when he was hurt against the right after the Rams game, and then those several games that he was out walking back and forth, restless. I guarantee that you can look all frizzled and see how he look. I guarantee he ain't sleep much. I guarantee you that much. He looked terrible. All right, let's see. Keep the voting going, family. Okay, that's the same video. Thank you, Sport Talk 365. Good to see you in the chat as well, family. Go ahead and vote too, Sport Talk. I want to know what you think as well, family. Put your comment in there. Cynthia Christopher, who that to you, Cynthia? Good to see you, family. Okay, y'all feel free to vote there. We're going to keep on counting the votes to see what the overall mindset of the Great Saint Think Tank is. All right, Howard, Michael Howard, who that? Good to see you there, Michael. All right, let's see. Okay, Johnny says D1. Thank you, Johnny. Diehard Saints fan says D3. Thank you, Diehard. Tyra says, just Q, he just adjusted because he knew better. He did something about it. We knew the cameraman. Thank you, Tyra. Michael Howard says D1. Cynthia says D1. Jonathan says, this is like having an old girlfriend who left you for a new man on the block, and later she found out he's no good and asked you to take her back. Okay. Charles says, oh yeah, all my exes vote D1. Oh, y'all crazy, man. Cut it out. Michael says he was already putting words to action when he came here. Okay. All right. Scoop says it's 26 D1s, 7 D2s, and 13 D3s. Okay. The Sport Talk says 3 D3 as well. Okay. So still overwhelming numbers for the D1 camp. D1 camp overall, the poll is showing that the overall Great Saint Think Tank family members, and I thank all of you guys for voting in the poll, have it 26 to 13 to 7, 26 D1s, which means 26 people in the chat voted and said, I forgive you, Drew. 13 says, we will forgive you, Drew, with action. And then there are 7 people that says, I don't know, you're not getting nothing from me. No, you're not forgiven. Go somewhere. That's what the D2 camp is saying. All right. It's interesting, man. I tell you what. But that's why we do is that's why I asked for the thought process, man, because I love listening to what you guys have to say about it. Jonathan says, sound like you've had some bad experiences, bro. Sheesh. Family members are some quite the comedians, man. Kevin said, I don't trust votes recount. What you gonna tell Dada and Scoob to recount? You don't trust Dada and Scoob? They're doing the counting. They're the guys that's pulling the ballots, GM Kev. It's Dada, it's your homeboy Dada and it's Scoob, man. They are doing the vote counting. So you telling me that you're not trusting what Scoob and Dada's doing? I mean, Derek, excuse me, what Derek's doing? Scoob and Derek is doing the counting, Kev. You know, but they're pretty good counters though. But I like to thank everybody for chiming in. Cynthia says number 1. Okay, thank you, Cynthia. That goes up to 27. Okay, if we didn't count, we counted Cynthia. We counted Cynthia. Okay, so it's 26. It's 26 D1s, 13 D3s, and 7 D2s. Okay. So there it is, family. All right, so that's wonderful. So most of the overwhelming consensus in the Great Saint Think Tank is that 26 of the great family members say that we do forgive them, and it's time to move on to the next thing. And then, of course, that number can go up by an additional 13 people. Once Drew puts actions to the words, then he'll gain 13 more people there. And just 7 people said, ain't no way in the world you're going to get this vote for confidence again. So it's time will tell, family. As time heals all wounds, it does indeed. This will eventually pass as well. It's like this just seems to be the time of just tribulation. You got pandemics left and right, massive starvation, food shortages, a lot bigger things on the scale to be honest, that's impacting the people besides what Drew Brees thinks or doesn't think. I just put in perspective. Now, as far as we are Saints fans, it does mean a lot because that's our quarterback. But when you kind of rationalize and then go out to a grander perspective, then you'll realize that the third world is starving. It could be an impending economic and physical confrontation with the Chinese government coming up soon. I ain't said the people, I said the government. All kind of stuff laid out here that's coming up. And then, of course, the coming back of this thing that happened during the summertime. So it's a lot of big things that's on the horizon that could just make us forget all about this eventually. It's just what it is. I'm just going to keep it honest with you. All right, family. Michael says he definitely will be thinking seriously about retiring. No doubt. Well, I mean, you got to, if he could turn this thing around, we'll just see. The only thing we could do is just be people that just observe and watch and see what he does. Because it's on him now. And I think a lot of people, just going to keep it real with you, I think a lot of people will forgive Drew Brees. And like a lot of family members say, I'll willing to forgive, but you got to show me something. And that'll add a lot more to it. So we'll just have to see it and play it by ear and just be reporters on history, family. That's all we can do. You know what I'm saying? Charles Mayfield's now we back on track to Miami, baby. Okay, see a lot of the great Saint think tank. And then like Iceman said, I think, was it Iceman or Dada? I think Dada said it. Dada says once he throws a touchdown, I'm cool again. Who did something wrong or somebody did something terrible, but once they caught a touchdown, it was cool. Michael Irvin, y'all remember that? Y'all remember that situation, family? Michael Irvin, people was pissed off at Michael Irvin, and then once he caught a touchdown, people was all happy again. So it's that part as well. That's that people that will think as well like that. Oh, Henry, who that tell you? Debo, good to see you, Debo, as well. He says, bro, ain't Malcolm Jenkins the same guy Eric Reed and Kaepernick has beef with? Malcolm Jenkins, bro, was a dude that, no, you're right. Eric Reed definitely had beef with Malcolm Jenkins and Kaepernick, both him and, because Reed and Kaepernick was always on the same page. It was on the same team, by the way. And their stances were similar, even though Eric were able to obtain work and Cap didn't. Now, Cap, they said that he was offered positions, but I don't know if it's positions that fit what he wanted to do. Some people said he didn't. So it's conflicting stuff there. They're saying that he was blackballed to a degree. I think so. And then they're saying people know they offered him a job. He didn't like the money. That could be a part of it as well. Me, as far as what I say about the whole thing is, you're absolutely right. Kaepernick and Reed did have an issue with Malcolm Jenkins because there was an issue where Malcolm Jenkins negotiated with the NFL. And it's just recent history. You can actually look this up, that he did go in there and negotiate with the NFL to stop the protests, and then he received money. The sum was not told of how much money he received, but he received some funds, and Kaepernick and Reed took offense to it. So it was something going on there, because those guys had a problem with Malcolm Jenkins. So yeah, we know Malcolm has a lot of good and bad, but we got to definitely watch him as well. Van Ward says, who that Q, who that to you as well, family, good to see you. Old Henry says, we're going to have a left side, strong side moment. Lori Hackler says the Saints will rise and go to the Super Bowl because of this, who that. And I said earlier in the show that this could galvanize the team. A lot of people might not be able to see that right now, but there's still a lot of time between now and the season. Now imagine if this was happening during the season, then it could be really problematic. If it was happening during the actual physical football season, this could be really problematic. The fact that it's happening months before the actual physical football season unravels, is they can definitely bounce back from this, in my opinion. And if Drew is as stand up as a lot of us thought prior to these statements, then he will, and you feel his apology, both his video apology that we seen and how terrible he looked, and his commitment to what he was saying, then if he can live up to that, man, if anybody got the resolve to pull back, it could be this man. We'll see, man. Well, that's all we can do is just, it's documented. Kevin says, Q, what do you think about the new NBA announcement? Pelicans got screwed. I know, family, I was reading about that. Wasn't invited, but that's why you got to take care of business when you're supposed to take care of business. And I was saying that during the season, and I feel you, Till was talking about the Pelicans basketball soon. Yeah, I seen that, family. We're gonna go over that. We're gonna do a Pelican postgame report coming up real soon. And all the family members out there that are Pelican postgame report. We usually do a show called the Pelican postgame report, which we have a whole YouTube channel dedicated to the New Orleans Pelicans, called the Pelican postgame report. Go and subscribe to it. We do Pelican content. We'll be doing a show real soon. Matter of fact, we'll probably have to fit one in this weekend. We'll do a Pelican show. More than likely, I get it'll probably be the Saturday night. We'll do probably have one set up for like an hour time frame, and we'll go over the news of what the NBA is coming, and we'll talk about how it impacts the Pelicans. But that's the part why you're supposed to take care of business. You're supposed to take care of business at the onset. Now something happens and now you out of it, or you could possibly be out of it. So we'll see how it shakes. And that's why I say Gentry, not the man. You had a great roster. How you that far behind? And I'm not going to get into it. You know how I do. I just tear them up. Let's see. Debo says he needs to talk to Drew person to person, not call him on the social media. I'm a black man and I didn't respect that. I feel you. Thank you, Debo. Charles says Jenkins be flopping like a crapple. Crappy. Scoop says Debo, I thought it was cowardly. Yeah. Kevin says they want to see Zion. Debo says, but reach one, teach one, not downgrade somebody and tear somebody down. Yeah, the comment was made over social media, and that's the reaction that he wanted to have. One could ask, why would you do it like that? Because I know you can probably call him. You have his number and say, Drew, what the F? Why tell your teammate down in public? That does proceed. Asks an interesting question. Is it a way, what was the mind frame of that? The man looked hurt on that, but so many things just seem what they aren't. You know what I mean? So much manipulation. You just have, I love the way you guys are critical thinking that though. Big ups to you for that. All right, Charles says I'm black, and he says I'm black and I'm with you, bro. No needed his to dramatize it. Drew never meant it to hurtful. Okay, thank you for that, Charles. Most like it. Ella says I agree, Big Q. Thank you, Ella. Much love to you. King Creel says Q. Do you think Drew Brees can get the team back? I think he can, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he can get the team back because despite him saying something like that, they have a lot of people on there that love Drew Brees. And, it's like having a family member or a friend of yours that says something incredibly hurtful. The relationship is then, once you say something incredibly hurtful for somebody that you work with, that you got a love for, not somebody that you don't care about. But I'm saying that if you work with somebody and you have a relationship where you just love that person, you go to bat for that person, like a lot of his teammates are. That go to bat for him, like on social media and all these other places, and willing to take flack from the public and to show a stance with him and with an unpopular statement. But I think that he would definitely get the team back because it's the locker room in New Orleans is unlike any other locker room. I keep saying that. That won't change because of what the man said. There's a locker room, and that locker room, they love each other. They love playing together, and they love the city. And a lot of people love Drew Brees because he represents so much of the city, not just because of Brees or who he is, but he represents, he's a good representer or a good physical image to people about what a football player is supposed to be. And at the chief position on the field, the quarterback, he shows a commitment to community, putting his money where his mouth is, responsible. And every now and again, you'll have a full up or two, which is cool because we'll see how tough you are to come back and make things right again. So we'll see how it shakes out. But no doubt about it, with it, you have some people that he rubbed the wrong way and he probably won't ever get back. But I think the majority of them guys will still stand with Drew Brees and play football with him and still believe that he could take them to the Super Bowl. That's the mentality. And besides, I keep saying this, your memory on this will disappear in less than 60 days. 60 days to 4 to 5 months, the public's perception of this will go away. Why? Because you'll have so many other issues that'll be facing you coming up. And when it started to get cold, you got that situation resolving with the sickness. You have the war, the tempering of war, the drum beats of war coming, the starvation of the third world, and many other things that the social engineers will start unraveling and rolling out. Then they'll have more situations like the brother Floyd situation. It won't stop with him because it didn't start with him and it won't stop with him. There's going to be more and more and more. And this is going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening until people make it stop. And it's a cold day. And I wish it wouldn't like that. But I'm telling you, more and more events are going to happen over the next 4 to 5 to 6 months that you're just going to forget about. You're just going to make this look small in retrospect. I'm just keeping it honest with you, man. Y'all know and I know that people forget because of the impact of all of the news that's constantly thrown at them. Sooner or later, it's going to continue to drop down, drop down, drop down. It's just like what happened with the what was some horrible situation that occurred with the what was it? I can't think of. I mean, so many just terrible things. I can't pinpoint something that Trump might have said in the media about something. What I mean, and then he said something ridiculous on something that people something that somebody didn't like, and then next week he'll say something somebody liked to make that one go away. So I'm just saying it'll be more stories upon more stories, or something Biden might say that's stupid, like what he said last week when he was talking to Charlemagne, when he said that stupidness. So it'll be some more stupidry that'll come out that'll make you feel like this is smaller in the grand scheme of life, if you get what I'm saying. So we'll see. Okay, Jonathan says D1. Thank you, Jonathan. Debo says if the NFL didn't feel like what Drew said, Kaepernick would have a job right now. I doubt Mike Thomas and Jenkins will boycott the NFL. No, they're going to get back to business as usual. And really, if you want that to be the case, I think there's nothing wrong with starting your own league if you don't like to play by their rules. It's like like most business people. There are a lot of business people that's in the Great Think Tank. A lot of people that work for themselves and have family businesses that work for themselves. And why? Because they rather work for themselves than to work for a boss that tell them when to come to work. They tell them when to get off of work, tell them when to go to the bathroom, tell them when to take a lunch, tell them when you don't feel like working, or you're going to come to work. And people, and the reason why they got entrepreneurs out there is because they want to control their time. They want to get the most out of it. And that is a way of controlling your life for yourself. And it's the same thing. If people don't like these leagues, and listen, a lot of these leagues come from that. The league is NFL is 100 years old. You go back 100 years. What year is that? And what was going on in that year when it was formulated? Go back in the Hall of Fame and look at all those people in there and how they think. A lot of them people, and none of them in there saint. There's a lot of people in there straight out demons. But that's the thing is, if you don't like that, don't participate in it. And if you can't get what you're supposed to get out of it, then start your own stuff. There is nothing wrong with that. You can have competition, and that's what true capitalism represents, is competition. Crony capitalism represents monopoly. So if that's the case, like advocate, like I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna leave it alone because I don't want to get too wordy. But I want to make people understand that the control, and y'all know I've always said this, is that I've always said the power is with the people, that you give the authorities the power to be the authorities. If you don't like what the authorities saying, you can pull the power back. The power is with the people. Why? Because the numbers is with the people, right? It's more of you than they are them. And if they don't abide by your understanding of what it's supposed to be, then you can have them removed. The power is with the people. If we don't like the situations that we are in, we have the power to change them in our favor. Meaning that if we don't like to play by somebody else's rules, whether that's in the sport league or working for somebody, you have the power and the mind and the information and the knowledge to start your own business. You can become a boss of something as opposed to an employee. That's an option that you have. And I preference that by saying that that's what we have that's the mentality that we have to learn to adapt in this world, so we can get those that get the those economic advances and get a broader perspective than as opposed to just being an employee in somebody else's stuff, because they can call the shots. Being a boss of your own stuff means you call the shots. And that's why I love being an entrepreneur. That's why I'm a person that advocates for entrepreneurialism, because really I don't like working for people, even not saying I can't work for people, because when I work for people, I work for how I want people to work for me, which is all out 100% effort. And that's what I give. But at the end of the day, I want to be in control of my time. I want to be in control of that. I want to pass something more on to my family except for anything else. So we're going to take one more call and then we're going to close the shutdown. All right, family, thanks for calling Sports Coma. Who I'm speaking with?
To the Iceman.
What up, Ice Man? Good to hear from your family. Your phone sound a little up and down, brother, a little distorted. You got me on speaker?
No.
Okay, you sound better now. Go ahead, bro.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
It's kind of distorted. Got a little distortion in it, kind of off and on there. But
sorry. Hello.
That's better. Go ahead, Ice Man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm one of the people like, yeah, man. I forgive Drew. You know, I forgive him. You know what I'm saying? I do think that people a little side eye, you know, raise your eyebrow, you know, about his comments. But I think, you know, I forgive him and stuff like that. I do think that, you know, some guys in the locker room, I think since they're all grown, like professional and stuff like that, I think they'll be able to get over the hump. But I do think the media may try to like use this as some type of storyline throughout the season or something like that to like try to break the locker room or something. I can see that being a type of vice he's gonna have to conquer. But I put it in the chat, and I know some people may, you know what I'm saying, this may not be the time to address this. This has nothing to do with Breeze's comment, but in my opinion, I think Teddy Bridgewater was a better fit for the city. Like, that's just my opinion. I think Teddy fit the culture better, and I think, at least from my perspective, it looked like Teddy was just refreshing in the city. He was just for something new and different and refreshing. And yeah, I've been ready to, like, you know, to go be like, I'm ready for him to, you know, walk on in the sunset. For real, and I'm gonna leave you on this question, Q. Okay. For real, if when we sit down and think about Drew Brees, what is Drew Brees' legacy for real? Like, what is his legacy? Because I mean, I'm saying as far as the championship really dominated, like that was, he has the stats. So what is his legacy when we sit down at the end of the day and reflect on his career?
Well, thank you for the question there, Ice Man. I think Drew's legacy, man, if you look at him overall, is that the legacy that he leave as a football legacy is a guy that he owns all of the records. He'll be known as one of the NFL's greatest quarterbacks. He'll go down as one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. That'll get him a Hall of Fame jacket. That was his, you know, most players that strap him on who play football in the NFL, and if they're really focused, the ultimate goal of football heaven would be to obtain a jacket, that blazer, so they can get in the Hall of Fame. And that money, it's like that money will go to sustaining their family for the rest of their life. As long as the NFL is viable, they'll get a portion of that. That's what the gift of becoming a Hall of Famer is. And that's what's something that his legacy. Now, in terms of his communal legacy, he's done a lot of things in the community. He spent a lot of money, moved a lot of money around in different charities, and he'll also be known for that. And also his business legacy is that he has dozens of businesses, real estate holdings, investments. He'll be known as a good businessman. So it's several different things that you can know him by. But when the time come down to it, I'm just keeping it honest with you, that eventually this too shall pass. I'm just keeping it honest with you. This will pass. Like if we look at the Great Saint Think Tank, we took a poll. And the majority of the Great Saint Think Tank said they forgive Drew after watching and listening to his statements. And some people don't forgive him, some do, and that's just a portion to how it works. But that's just how it is. People forgive Drew, and it's just like, okay, let's just move forward. What's the next step? And some people say they will forgive him too, but what works behind the words. So I mean, I think this too, like the old biblical saying that this too shall pass, is that this definitely gonna pass. And he will definitely make a full out effort to make sure that does not stain his legacy, because this dude is a legacy guy. He believes in legacy. That's why he hustles as hard as he hustles and works hard to keep his image up and his public perspective of himself up. And he won't let this type of stuff happen. I'm just keeping it real with you. He will spend money and he will get out there and he gonna roll his sleeve up and we gonna work and we gonna watch him do it. And then 4 or 5 months from now, people gonna say, "Hey, Q, remember the time when Drew said this?" And it's just gonna be a moment like when all that happened with Kaepernick, that happened, and then everybody was upset. And then you move on to today, and then you realize that it had an impact then, but it has an impact now. But it kind of cooled everything down, and that's what time does. Time heals all wounds. And time does help to aid in people forgetting things. It's just real. It's just what it is. So I do think eventually people, and most of the people in the chat, have already forgiven Drew, and that's just how it is. But thank you, Iceman. I appreciate you for calling, my friend. And who that to you?
All right, who that?
Who that, babe? All right, family, thanks for calling the Sports Coma. Who's on the line?
Whoa.
Who that? What's up, Sway? What's going on, babe?
Man, y'all don't love Snoop Dogg? Y'all don't love Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg?
What they talking
Y'all
about?
don't love us? Well, let it be known then. I don't know what's going on, bro.
That was his famous East Coast speech when he got up there on the East Coast. I remember that. He almost got shot with that one.
Yeah, that's what Drew Brees will get on there and say. Y'all don't love Drew Brees?
Swade, say, bro, let me ask you, man. I know you had an opportunity to listen to Drew's video. He put up a video on social media apologizing. Kind of faced the video to the rest of the people so they could see Drew. And he did a video apology. I know you had a chance to look at it. What's your thought process on Drew Brees' video appearance? And let me ask you this. We just did a poll in the Great Saint Think Tank that an overwhelming amount of people, we had a poll that says D1 if you forgive Drew, D2 if you don't forgive Drew, or D3 you forgive Drew but with works and actions behind it. The overwhelming majority of the people said Drew won, that they forgive Drew in the Great Saint Think Tank. So what is your thought process on Drew's apology, and where would you stand in that poll? 1, 2, or 3?
Well, I stand. You know what? I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't even mad for me to have to forgive him. You know what I'm saying? I was just more disappointed because, as we talked yesterday, you know, we really didn't feel that Drew was a racist and that he was just, you know, it was just a inconsiderate statement that he made. You know, without having, you know, any kind of or giving any kind of feeling on what's going on in the world. So, I mean, I guess I'll say D1. You know, but to be honest, man, hey. I think somebody probably already said this before I even chimed in, man. Yo, whatever a man tell you the first time, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So this apology, and I love Drew, you know what I'm saying? He all right. But this apology comes after, you know, the backlash, man, and everybody was on his ass. So it takes a lot of, you know, nuts to say, you know, to come back and prove and say that you were wrong. But I still do believe that, yo, he's still with that flag there. That's just what it is. You know, and that, like we said yesterday, that's his okay. And I can't fault him for that. But, you know, you definitely, he should have shown some kind of compassion for his teammates and, you know, the things that's going on today with our community. But, hey, man, I just want a Super Bowl, man. I tell you what, you get us a Super Bowl, I'm D3.
Okay, so you switch from D1 to D3?
Yeah, I'm going D3 because you know what? He'll be all right if he win the Super Bowl. He's gonna be all right. How about that?
Okay, all right. And it
just like anything, and it's sad. You know what? It's sad, and I'm sorry to cut y'all, sir. It's sad because it as anything, I think, and excuse me if I say this, that our people are we are forgiving people. And we, you know what I'm saying, just like the incident we happened with him the first time, we were upset when he said something about the flag, but we let it slide. And even incidences within the community as far as police brutality, we never forget, but, you know, we kind of let it go. So, I mean, we all kind of a forgiving community, man. So I think in time, yeah, like you said, this too shall pass, but we'll never forget. Like Leonard Washington said on the Chappelle show, I'll never forget you for this, bitch.
Sweet.
I'm here.
Okay, you said you was gonna finish your story about Chappelle?
Oh, I thought I said, Oh, let me finish that. Like the great Leonard Washington on the Chappelle Show once said, and I quote, "Biz, I never forget you for this."
Well, I mean, the score right now in terms of our vote, we did the vote, and I appreciate all the great Saint Think Tank family members for chiming in. Please hit the like button, family. Thank y'all for joining us to stream tonight, or this Thursday night. 29 D1s, 7 D2s, and 16 D3s. So 29, I forgive you, Drews. 16, I will forgive you, Drew, with work behind it. And 7, I'll never forgive you, what you said, the brother from the Chappelle Show said.
Yeah, because I never forget you for this.
All right, Swade. That goes. That's pretty good, my friend. Oh, damn, we look like I clicked them all by mistake. I apologize. All right, family members. Thank you for calling the show. Who's on the line?
Yo, this Debo, man.
What up, Debo?
Man, I ain't gonna let these boys drag my boy Drew in the mud, bro. I ain't gonna do. Ain't happening, bro. So, majority of the NFL, even black players didn't kneel when Kaepernick lost his job. Why we ain't talking about that? Hello?
Yeah, I got you, Debo. I thought you had a second part behind it.
No, I'm asking. Like, we need answers. Like, you know, I'm all for my people. I'm a black man in Louisiana that lives in the South who is a Saints fan and a Drew Brees fan, as all of us have been over the years. I feel like Saints fans, you know, a lot of the Saints fans turncoat because I'm like, we know Drew Brees is not a racist. He's uninformed on a lot of black social issues. But we're trying to put him up in such a regard to where he's supposed to know all our social injustice. If you look at it, most of the NFL, which is white owned, they don't have no black owners. But Drew Brees supposed to get this from the hip. Like, if you're gonna speak on it, Jerry Jones was one talking about none of his players gonna kneel. But he switched up because everybody started acting like they didn't want to play. All these owners, every single owner didn't want to get Kaepernick because of the kneel. But all of these players that's playing for these white owners that don't agree with disrespecting the flag, like Drew Brees said, all these players that are getting white money are trying to hop on Drew Brees' back. I don't respect it. If you're going to do anything, try to inform this dude instead of just go in and just go in on him. If this is the case, you would have never signed Malcolm Jenkins on this team to try to divide this whole locker room. Demario Davis didn't even speak like that. He said he's going to talk to Drew Brees instead of trying to drag him into social media. That's a leader and that's a fake leader. You see the difference between the two?
Well, I'll tell you what, Debo. Malcolm Jenkins. I've been watching Malcolm Jenkins for some time.
The Faisal.
I've been watching Malcolm Jenkins for a while, and what really my antennas went up on Malcolm Jenkins because I'm pretty aware Malcolm Jenkins when he went into negotiations with the NFL behind closed doors, dealing with the Pro Tools. Right, behind their backs, and he went up in there.
And Kaepernick and Reed, the main ones that was kneeling, didn't get no benefits from that situation. Eric Reed lost his job, and Kaepernick never been in the NFL since then.
No Kaepernick.
But he's been playing.
Yeah, about Kaepernick, yeah, you're right. Kaepernick didn't get he wasn't in the NFL after that. Reed did catch a contract with the Carolina Panthers, but they
after a year.
But they had a settlement that was paid to them, but it was all that information was sealed. It was sealed, but we didn't even know what was going on. And the mere fact that you would seal an agreement like that between the players and what happened with Jenkins behind their back was very suspect.
Right.
And you're right. And that's great critical thinking on display, where you have to look at the people who put themselves before you as leaders. You got to look at them.
Right.
You know, and I do that all the time when I look at Sharpton or I look at other supposed leaders. You got to look at
what you're thinking.
Right.
If you came up in a household with intelligence, with individual thinking, you will always know that everybody's not going to agree with the same thing. So and you know, one thing I kind of don't like in social media is even black people that have any kind of different thought get attacked and drugged down in the mud and quote unquote canceled because they don't think that we all want the same solution But if you say it a different type of way, everybody's in outrage. I don't get it. Like, when did being an individual in this world become a bad thing? If we all want the same solution, what's wrong with having different answers?
Because the process of the overall thought process of the public is not that own of the public. It's not something that the public created. It's all a part of groupthink. That's the thing that's where peer pressure comes from. It's been put into the population for some time now, and it's to wield against independent thinkers or critical thinkers by alienating them and criticizing them for not buying into the same thought process as the group dynamic. It's called groupthink, and it was set up by psychologists at a high level that know how to manipulate the human mind. And a lot of times we have to then research, study, and find out so we don't be willing stooges in groupthink. And it's absolutely, and I constantly on this show elevate and talk about critical thinkings and give big credit to the inventors, the people that invented air conditioning and things, or washing machines, or things that improve the life of people. And most people don't even know who the inventors are, but their inventors and their thought process, their ideas made life easy for you right now. You could be walking you could be on a horse right now if it wasn't for the guy that created the automobile. So, I mean, it's a lot of things.
It's easy for people to have outrage, bro. It's easy for people to have outrage, but then, everybody, it's the goalpost. If I wish everybody had the same energy when Kaepernick was kneeling and everybody was hiding behind the sidelines, like looking at each other like, do we want to kneel? Nah, I'm going to lose my job. It's easy to push the goalpost right now.
Yes. But see, that's a great point, but it has to bode well for a man that knows that he'll make a stand with an unpopular opinion like what Kaepernick did, put his livelihood on the line and risk losing millions of dollars and his football career in alienation and being blackballed to make a stand for his beliefs. There are very few people in this world that's willing to do that. If that was the case, half of the workforce would have been slapped the piss out their boss and left out of there. Because God knows people eat mess every day, and they eat mess because they feel that they got to take care of their family and they got to put up with hell to do it. And that's simply not the case. We don't have to put up with hell from them bastards. Sometimes those cases represent when you're not supposed to be there. Maybe it's due to a fact that you need to change your environment when stuff like that happen, because those hellish times come as a result to motivate us to come up with a change in mentality, so that we can, because all life is about balance. And when you in the hellish situation, you got to come up with ideas and concepts to bring the balance back. And that's what it comes down to. And the group here in this country and in the world, period, the people that sit at the top that took all the resources, that control everything, stole all the resources, manipulate the markets, play these games that they play. And I go there because people at a level will then start to criticize each other like they're at fault. The reality is that to some degree, most people are victims of somebody else's bullshit mentality, of something that they were fed. And they haven't gone through the process of going into doing research and validating whether what they was said was right and exact. So, I mean, that's what it comes to nowadays. That's why I emphasize critical thinking. That's why I always tell people that don't believe nothing they tell you. Don't believe nothing the media say. I don't care if it's about medical advice. I don't care about none of that. Don't believe none of that.
I feel like social media is making people. I feel like social media is making people revert to like the tactics of kids and preschool kind of tactics. Yeah. When you try to drag somebody, when you're having a discussion, a debate, you don't down talk somebody, you don't name call, you don't threaten, and you don't villainize somebody. Instead, you try to give them the points to teach them and reach one, teach one, instead of tearing people down. That's the problem with this world nowadays. Everybody's so quick to be, opinionated, and everybody wants to be the smartest person and know all the answers, but don't have no solutions for nothing. Everybody can have answers from the computer. Everybody. And talking about Drew Brees' legacy, his legacy was submitted in 2010 when he won that Super Bowl, when the Saints did never won a Super Bowl ever. Drew Brees gonna be a legend in my eyes forever. He's been one of the top 3 quarterbacks for damn near 20 years ain't no way this gonna take away his legacy.
No,
if you ask Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and all these guys what their true feelings about the situation, they could care less because they're not speaking on it.
No,
you don't hear them speaking on it.
That's true, Debo.
So why you gonna put Drew Brees up here like that? You're gonna put him on a pedestal, but you got all of these other white people. I mean, white players. You know what I'm saying? That don't even speak on none of this. So if they're not speaking, what does that mean? They don't agree with what you're saying, right?
Either that, or they don't have an opinion.
Huh?
It don't mean enough to them to even say something about
it. Thank you. So at least Drew Brees, he stuck his neck out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he got chastised by everybody and crucified. But guess what? He's not going nowhere. The Saints are not going to let him go. And the dude that said Teddy Bridgewater was a better fit than Drew Brees, dude, I don't know what you smoking, but that stuff is high grade. Dude. Teddy Bridgewater is going to stink it up in Carolina. For them to get that boy $64 million, Cam Newton is 10 times better than Teddy Bridgewater. We had a good O-line, good skill players, and it made him look good. Now, let's see how he looks when you only got a running back. Now, they come back to us next year, okay? Teddy Bridgewater looked like trash when he started coming in the beginning. Y'all forgot some of them games where he had to heat up and play managing quarterback. If he didn't have Drew Brees' system, if he didn't have Sean Payton's system and a team that was Super Bowl bound, he would have not went 5-0. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? They really like pushing the goalposts. Like Drew Brees' legacy is cemented. I don't care what nobody's talking about. Like, yeah, he said what he said, but also all of these owners gonna say the same thing. I feel like teach this dude, man.
You know what?
Teach him. He don't have to deal with these problems.
But Debo, let me tell you something, bro. Too, I agree with everything you just said, bro. You are 100% right, and I love that passion, bro. But let's look at it at another perspective. Drew could say what he said, and then came out and said, "You know what? I apologize that people feel it, but this is what I believe, and that's just what it is." And then at the end of the day, he could have just chose to do whatever he wanted to do. He worth over $200 million. He have several businesses.
His kids don't got to work.
Right.
His kids don't.
He's set for the rest of his life. He don't have to. He don't even have to even pander to the public crowd whatsoever. And eventually, 5 to 10 years, 2 or 3 years down the line, most people would have forgotten that anyway. So, you know, like I said, I don't think it diminishes his legacy. I agree with you.
New Orleans got to fight for that dude more, man. Like, he came down here when New Orleans had nothing, bro. Nobody wanted to come to the Saints. The Saints was a laughing stock when we had Aaron Brooks and Deuce McAllister and Joe Horn. Then nobody want to come here. Come on, bro.
Even the quarterback that was the quarterback of New Orleans was a laughing stock because he himself was laughing while he was throwing interceptions.
People this generation, bro, is so like short attention span. I feel like if you're gonna do something, bring in the whole history of things.
Yes.
The NFL and all the the pro rights and everything. This just started. I don't remember when the NFL has ever had no boycotts or people doing anything for black justice ever. I don't remember it. If they did, please let me know.
I remember some time ago back in the day when Jim Brown had some stances back in the day where he used to bring up him and Bill Russell and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Muhammad Ali.
But besides him, I'm talking about modern times. I'm not talking about civil rights.
Okay, I thought you were saying
let's talk about the 90s, 80s and up. Let's talk about that.
No, that
because why? Because guess what? They was worried about that money. They didn't care about what George Floyd, a brother like Floyd George had to deal with. Once they make their money, bro, they don't care about what's going down with the man outside. Oh, a lot of people make it and they don't go back. They go back to the community. They do a little turkey drive, little backpack, little drive, little donation here and there. Other than that, they really don't care about the problem until something big happens like that. I feel like if you're gonna do it, okay, do it like Kaepernick, risk your whole career. Be 100 or 0. Other than that, what you talking for?
I love it.
Right?
That's absolute the truth. But very few people are gonna do that though, Debo.
People gotta call it out.
Very few people are gonna put their livelihoods and their name on the line for most people, for the people, unless they really love the people more than they love who they are. But then in the essence, when you do that, then you gain 10 times what you ever thought you would lose. Because when you side with the people, you gonna win every time.
I love what Kaepernick did, but also we gotta call him out for his BS too.
He's calling
and begging and pleading for his job back to work for the people that oppress us. But you want to get your job back though.
Debo, is levels to this, man. It's levels to this. You know, and I think that's a part of it. Like, you're right. You can't have them. You can't go back there. You got to be able to have an exit strategy. And when you get from there to another point, you were in a high paid employee at that point. If you didn't like that treatment, don't go back to being a high paid employee. Become the boss. I'm with you on that.
I feel like it's going into the right direction. I'm happy that people are having this conversation. I feel like the whole beating people down and negativity is really murking up the water, especially with the protests and everything. It seems like they're losing the narrative of what the whole riot, protest / whatever you want to call it, protest is murking up the waters, because it always seems like if you let the media portray the propaganda of the situation, they're always going to turn the narrative into a negative situation, even if it was peaceful or not. People got to start understanding it's not about what the media thinks and what people want you to think. It's about the solutions. And if you don't have no solutions, get out the way. Period.
Debo, good at them dropping bombs, Debo. You're throwing haymakers, Debo.
Listen, I love all people. I love my black people. I love everybody. I just feel like the world needs to come together. It's so much the divisiveness between everybody. And everybody wants to be the Malcolm X. Everybody wants to be that person and this person. But you got to understand, if you looked at the Black Panther movement, if you looked at Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam, if you looked at all of these movements, they had foot soldiers. They had people that were willing to follow the situation. Everybody wants to be the big chief. All of this stuff is not going to get worked out overnight, tomorrow, next week. A law ain't going to change everything. It's the mindset that people have.
Right.
It's what you grow up in. Racism is going to be here forever. Like it or not, it's going to be here forever.
Yep.
It's going to be amongst us. As much as they hide it, it's going to be here. So, I don't like how they're trying to say Drew Brees is a racist. I feel like it's a problem with me. If you're patriotic, you can't call somebody that somebody's patriotism and they love this country. How you gonna sit there and call them a racist? How you gonna just basically making Drew Brees an honorary KKK member overnight? That's disgusting. I'm sorry.
Right.
I know I'm going long. I know I'm going there, bro. But it's just like y'all need to, stop tearing people down, bro, and respect one another. Call him out for what he did, but then, try to work with it, man. Stop being on people's heads like that, man. Disrespect and hate, it gets us nowhere. Appreciate the call, Big Q, bro.
Thank you, Debo. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for them wise words. Who that to you, fam? Peace. Swade, you on there?
Oh, I'm still here. You can hear me?
I can hear you, brother. You heard what Debo said?
I was kind of chopped up at first, but towards the end, it got better. The connection got better. But, man, I definitely agree with what I heard at the end with Debo, man. Yo, man, let the man breathe, bro. He got his right to his opinion. He ain't a racist because he disagreed, with what we saying. Maybe a little inconsiderate, but, hey, bro, it is what it is, man. Now go get us a Super Bowl. Now, that's all I want, man. That's all I want, bro.
All right, fam. All right. Well, you heard what Swade says. He said Swade and Debo co-sign with each other on it, and of course, Swade said, "Okay, we got over it. Now let's go get a Super Bowl."
Let's go get a Super Bowl, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of this. Man, what Ja Rule got to say about this? Man, nobody don't care what Drew Brees got. No, can you get us to the Super Bowl? Are you in charge of the girls? Yes, I am in charge. Are you in charge of the girls?
Yes, I'm in charge of the girls.
Let's go, man. Come on, bro. Hey, we're all not perfect. Like I think we said the other day, man, we put these people in such high places. We expect them to be perfect, man. These people are not perfect. You know what I'm saying? And they have the right to their own opinions. And and things of that nature, and they may slip up and say the wrong thing sometimes. That's all it is, man. Hey, you're not out there, bro. You're not out there on that field, bro, to tell us what you think. You know what I'm saying? You out there for what, to do what?
To win that Super Bowl.
To win the Super Bowl. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Yeah, that's bringing it. Well, there it is. Well, family.
Now, but on the other hand, here you go. You always know I got to go to the other hand.
Oh Lord, here comes the other hand.
Michael Vick. Michael Vick had this thing with the dogs. Now he made a mistake, and from that mistake, he had to go off. Well, he went to jail, but when he came back, he had to go to another team. So could you kind of compare that? Is that the same thing? No.
I mean, you can, but it's kind of a little different. I mean, with the dogs, a lot of people, felt like he went a little too far. A lot of people serious about animal cruelty.
That was way more serious. You're absolutely correct.
It's just Drew Brees said something that really rubbed people the wrong way. So I mean, they're two different circumstances, kind of.
Yeah,
but
two different circumstances.
Right.
Correct. So yeah, man, Drew Brees stay right there, man. We're not trading him for Dak. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna get Cam Newton. You know what I'm saying? No, we're not doing all that. I do want to get Cam Newton. I ain't lying though.
I think a lot of stuff that's going on with the Drew commentary, a lot of people just upset about it right now, and it's directly tied to a very difficult situation going on right now with the brother Floyd. And stuff that's tied around it that it's just a sick and tired of feeling, and it just was the wrong time for him to pop off something like that. And he just got to make it. He got to make it right to the people that support him. He just got to make it right to the people that support him. And that's the bottom line. And if he doesn't, then it is what it is, in my opinion. Because looking down the line, there are a lot of other serious things that are coming, and I promise y'all, in 3 to 5 months from now, y'all not going to even care about this. I'm just going to keep it real with you, because there's a lot more important stuff than what he talking about, what Drew Brees said or didn't say. I'm just going to keep it real with you, because it's sports, and we love our sports, we love our quarterback. But at the end of the day, it ain't like, we going to get past this, because a lot of grander things on the scale will be staring us in the face. So, I mean, it's just, that's how it is in the world. Things move on, and then we just forget the rest of the thing. Well, we don't forget them, but they're then categorized as their impactfulness gets less and less and less. And until things start to change, like on the front with everything that's been happening, things like Brother George or Sandra Bland or Gardner or Trevon, and all this has been happening for years, going way back and back. We'll be absolutely out of our minds to think that it will stop with George Floyd. There was a guy that I personally knew, and that Devon, DC personally knew, who's a good brother, that was killed in Jefferson Parish, but he don't have the same airwaves as Floyd, because brother Floyd's situation was on television, all this other stuff. It was other situations in the country right now where people are getting shot down and killed. Some of them caught on camera, a lot of them not caught on camera. So this ain't gonna be the end of it. And I'm saying there are a lot of grander things that's gonna pop up in a week, in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, in 4 weeks, in 2 months, in 3 months from now, that'll make you put this in a certain perspective.
I'm about to tell you, because 2020 hitting us upside the head. Every month is something new. God damn.
I'm telling you, and the trend gonna continue. The whole month start off with this stuff, and then we had the riots are going on in the country right now, and then something else is coming behind it, and it's gonna keep coming on until we make a change with a lot of stuff. So I'm just telling you how I go, family. I mean, y'all might disagree with me, but I'm just keep telling you how it is. This is not the first hard thing that we face with as a group of people in this country or in this world, period. They're gonna have more stuff that's a lot heavier than this coming, and y'all understand what I'm saying. Go ahead, Swade. Go ahead and say it, brother. I'm gonna shut the stream down a little bit.
You know how crazy 2020 been so far, dude. The freaking Pentagon put out videos of a UFO. Ain't nobody said nothing. That's how crazy it is. Ain't nobody said a word. Dude, they talking about an asteroid coming near Earth. Ain't nobody saying nothing.
When that happened?
That's how crazy 2020 is.
Well,
And nobody, there's a whole lot going on, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Sound like some blue beam stuff to me. But like I said, man, I think it's a lot of, it's a lot of craziness, a lot of very unique situations going on right now. And Suede, you're right. 2020 has definitely been a very interesting year, and it is not done yet. It is not even over yet. It's not over, not even close to being over.
Right.
Debo says in the chat, I'm being real. America needs to understand the injustices to respect everyone. Well, guess what, Debo? If people don't understand it, I promise you that time is coming when people will understand. Because most people might not want to participate because they don't have a reason to participate, because they can't put themselves in that next person's shoes. But trust me, oppression just don't stay with one people. It has a very ugly history of trekking across cultures. It can track from your culture is not impervious to that type of energy. Trust me. So you either stand up for it now, regardless, or it will eventually make its way over to you too. And the same thing that's happened throughout history. In every culture, they had some people that came up and they would do things, and people sat there and let it happen. They didn't defend the other group. And then ultimately, when they exterminated or moved one group out the way, they worked their way up until eventually they got to the people who let it all happen to the other people. So I'm just saying to you, if you stand as one together against the injustice of these people, because these people at the top, they plotting full out extermination for over 95% of the world. That includes everybody, blacks, whites, Hispanics, Asian. 95% mean you're going to get caught in the crossfire too. So understand that they're the ones responsible for division techniques. They control the media that's pumping back and forth rhetoric to keep the people divided and conquer. They got to do all these tricky ass little techniques because they are a very small amount of people that's doing this. And they got to control the majority of the people with this nonsense. It's simple. So the moment we get past that, then we can start really seeing some change occur. So it's all a portion of critical thinking, family. It all comes back to critical thinking. That's what it comes back to, and that's what it's always been about. The moment you stop critical thinking, you become a slave. You begin to die, because you're not thinking from your mind, you're thinking from somebody else's mind. You're not utilizing your own mind. You believe in everything somebody else tell you over there. You should not be trusting them people. You should not be trusting them. And it says in the scriptures that the people perish for a lack of knowledge. But if you follow demons and you don't do investigation on these people and you listen to what they say, you're going to be led to oblivion. The bottom line. So we need to stop. We turn these goddamn TVs off, because all this nonsense that they're talking is outright bullcrap. Bottom line, they've been lying. They've been lying for years. They've been telling lies. It's time for us to put liars in their place and stop listening to them. I'm just going to put it out like that. But Sway, go ahead on, bro, with your final statement, bro, before I shut the stream off, my friend.
Oh, man, we about to shut it off.
Yes, sir. We about to shut it off.
I just got here. I just came to the party.
You late to the party. We 8 minutes from 3 hours, my friend.
Oh, God damn. I'm my bad. I was watching the worst movie ever, but all right. I'll tell you what. I just flew in from Popeyes, but look here.
You just flew in from Popeyes?
Yeah, I just flew in from Popeyes, man. You know what, man? Like many of my people saying, man, like a lot of the family saying, let it go. You know what I'm saying? Don't waste all the energy holding this grudge, man. The man said what he said. Let's go on. Let's play some football. And that's pretty much it, man. It's real simple. It's real simple, man. Right? At the end of the day, these guys are playing football. Now, I'm not telling them to shut up and play ball. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I'm not strongly concerned about what Drew Brees had to say, and it doesn't affect me. Like, Drew Brees is not in Congress. You know what I'm saying? He's not. Drew Brees is our head quarterback, and he throws the ball very well, might I add. And that's all I need to know. Now, if Drew Brees was getting on there and saying, I'm about to play ball with my hand tied behind my back. Hold up, mother. Then we got a problem. Then we got an issue. Okay? And, other than that, man, we good.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Swade. That very unusual testimonial. Thank you for it, though. Appreciate it.
Thank you. No problem. I'll try.
Well, anyway, fam, I'd like to thank all y'all for joining us tonight on Drew Apologizes for Disrespecting the Flag comment reaction part 2 to this thing. And I appreciate Swade from chiming in toward the back end of the podcast. I'll give a shout out to Van Ward, Big Joe Bear, 985 Live, Solo, the Pro Cut King. Who else we got there that I didn't see there? Lance Kelly and the rest of the family members chiming in the stream toward the back end. Thank y'all, man. It's been almost 3 hours, believe it or not.
I got a new shirt for you, Q.
Yes, sir.
I got a new shirt. It's not Drew Brees. It's Drew Please. Drew Please. Drew Please.
I thought you were saying like, you know, be please or something like that. It's Drew. It's like that, but Drew Please.
No, Drew Please.
Drew Please.
You know, like that. Yeah, new shirt. There you go.
All right, I got you, fam. I want to know what most of the family members would they buy a Drew Please shirt. Thumbs up in the chat, family, if you would buy a Drew Please shirt.
Drew Please.
Drew Please.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I did.
All right, family, but I'd like to thank all y'all for joining the show today. Much love to you. Feel free to drop by the merch store. The links in the description section below to get the latest gear. God is a Saints fan. We will win this 8 ways from Tuesday, one of my favorite sayings I like to say, and a lot of other different great Saint think tank and sports coma gear is available at the Pro Shop. 15% off with the code Stay Strong, all lowercase letters. Ref you suck, and over 35 or whatever it is shirts that is at the Pro Shop now. Also to let you know that the Pro Radio or a PRO Media Network is available in audio streams as well. You can go to Spreaker.com/The Sports Coma. That's Spreaker.com/The Sports Coma. You can listen to the Sports Coma, Pelican Post Game Report, Ring Kings Boxing, and Tough Tiger Talk, all on audio format at Spreaker.com/The Sports Coma, also known as Pro Radio. The links are in the description section below. And finally, if you enjoy the show and we provide a really good amount of edutainment, old BDP album from Boogie Down Productions, one of my favorite BDP albums outside of Criminal Minded, the one with Criminal Minded on it, was Edutainment. And we definitely here on the Sports Coma and the Pelican, the Great Saints Think Tank are known as, we definitely bring that edutainment to you. But if you like that and you pick up and you get stuff out of the platform and we enlighten you, we entertain you, please do like what dozens of other great individuals did and become a supporter of the platform by going to patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. That's patreon.com/the PRO Media Network, and become a patron of the show. And there's certain perks and benefits that come with becoming a patron. There's locked content that doesn't make it to the channel, special shows that's only done for Patreon members, also videos that are not released that are Patreon members get an opportunity to listen or see before the actual release. A lot of different perks. Also, the political or entertainment show called On Q with Big Q, where we cover a lot of heavy topics, are also available through the patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. So if you feel, please, Derek say ninja, please. Okay, so that's that you can feel free to join it. Patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. So you can feel free to go there and check that out. So once again, thank all the beautiful Saints family members for chiming in for another great episode of the Great Saint Think Tank, also known as the Sports Coma. Big ups to Hold'em Hook'em TV. I see you, family. Much love to you. I see you in the chat. Big ups to you and the rest of the family members. Solo the Pro Cut King. Much love to you as well. I thank y'all, man, for all y'all great thoughts and opinions on the matter. As we will grow together, notice we have in dialogue, we still are respectful. We still have a certain amount of love for each other. And when we go through things like this, we will grow together and learn from each other and get better. That's the great part about this. And I'm glad this platform has that effect so we could all come together and have this type of dialogue in a respectful manner and learn from each other and gain insight from each other. I just love it and I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for all that you do. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I respect the hell out of y'all. And once again, we'll see you. We'll see you on the Saturday show, the Saturday afternoon show, also called Saturday Saints Talk. Tomorrow, just to let you know, the program is scheduled for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, a part 5 of the situational, the room breakdowns. Part 4 was released today with the tight ends. Tomorrow, part 5 is the offensive lineman room breakdown. That'll be available to the rest of the family members throughout the platform. Our Patreon and YouTube members are looking at it right now. They have access to it right now, but it won't be released officially until tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So be looking out for that. The offensive line room breakdown, all the players is pretty good breakdown. And we've had a lot of good success with our offensive position breakdowns. Part 5 is tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Saturday at 5 is the Sports Coma Live, also known as the Saturday Saints Talk. Please join us for that. And then Sunday at noon will be a week 3 of the TSC Madden simulations as the Saints take on the Green Bay Packers in the Dome. The Saints are 2-0 taking as the Packers come home. Can the Saints get it done in simulation against the Green Bay Packers to go undefeated and get to 3-0? We'll find out Sunday at noon. So a full slate of stuff happening, and much love to the family members. So I thank all y'all for all y'all do. Y'all be careful out there. Stay blessed. Go ahead, Sway.
Oh, and if any one of y'all want some of this on Madden Football PS4, make sure you look up BLAXUEDE. That's my tag. Go find me so you can get a piece.
Say it again. Say it again, cause Till be on there now.
The tag name is BLAXUEDE. That's my tag on Madden Football PS4. Go find me. Let's go.
You heard that sound like a challenge, that Till.
Right.
That sound like a challenge.
Nobody want none, you heard me, huh? All right.
Well, appreciate you, fam. Thank you, Sway. I appreciate the family members. Much love to y'all. I'll see y'all Saturday night on Saturday Saint Talk on the channel. So much love to you. Who that? Be safe, and I'm out.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome. Number 1 sports talk indeed. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the Sports Coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Peyton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or robbery could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the Sports Coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.